Chapter 444. Chapter 444, Dr. Kang's plan. First, the pill that Kang Xiaobo gave us was indeed the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, but his branch has always been at odds with us, so he didn't want us to be too well off even if he gave us the pill. That's why he mixed dog poop into the pill. Zhao Long said. With Kang Xiaobo's age, he's quite capable of pulling a prank like this. So you're saying that Kang Xiaobo purposely mixed dog poop with the pill and sent it over? Dr. Kang thought about it. Xiaolong's analysis wasn't impossible, and Kang Xiaobo really could have done that, making him eat dog poop along with the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. That's a possibility. Xiaolong nodded. So the half that Xiaoming ate earlier might have been the pill's half, and the half you ate was dog poop. Dr. Kang regretted it a little. He would have eaten it himself if he'd known this would happen. Why did he have to let Kang Mingming eat it? The second possibility is that something happened to the pill when it was thrown into the trash. Maybe it was mixed with dog poop, or maybe it was mixed with dog poop by accident. Zhao Long said. But no matter what, dog poop shouldn't be the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. Our research direction is wrong. Dr. Kang's face was dark, and he didn't say a word. In fact, he didn't know what to say. It was fortunate that this had happened within the Kang family, and no outsiders knew about it. Otherwise, they'd be laughing their heads off. Miracle Dr. Kang's entire family was eating dog poop. It was the biggest joke in the world. Kang Mingming had finished pooping by now and returned to the study. So, any conclusions? What you ate earlier might not be dog poop, but there's no way to prove it. Dr. Kang said simply, in any case, the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing isn't dog *T. This matter ends here for now. Don't tell anyone else. Kang Guifeng, Zhao Long, and the others all nodded. Nonsense, who would take the initiative to tell others about such a shameful thing? Zhao Long, I think it's time to bring up your marriage with the Xiao family's Wang Xinyan. Dr. Kang immediately thought of the Xiao family's marriage after the failure of the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. Alright, then I'll go to Yanjin in a few days to send the betrothal gifts and settle the marriage. Zhao Long was disappointed as well. He thought that House Kang would be able to soar into the sky this time, but it was all for naught. Yeah, it's just an engagement, so I won't be going. Guifeng, take Zhao Long with you, Dr. Kang instructed his eldest son, Kang Guifeng. Yes, father. Kang Guifeng nodded. There's one more thing, Cuepu. I'll leave it to you. Dr. Kang turned to Cuepu. Cuepu paused. He was the prodigal son of the family, and there wasn't much he could do other than eat, drink, and play all day. Why was his father asking him to do something for the first time? But he was still very happy inside. The pill of life extension and toxin cleansing wasn't a success, but with Kang Mingming's involvement, the father and son duo were clearly valued by Dr. Kang. Dad, just tell me. I'll do my best. Cuepu promised. You have a lot of friends in society, so pay close attention to Kang Xiaobo's family. Since that friend of Kang Xiaobo's could get his hands on the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, then he must know some master. Find out who they've been in contact with, and if there really is a master, we'll definitely get him to work for us. Dr. Kang said. I'm good at that, leave it to me. Cuepu patted his chest and promised. With that, the matter was settled, and the farce of Dr. Kang's family solving the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing came to an end. But Dr. Kang didn't give up yet. The pill of life extension and toxin cleansing was a symbol of wealth and status. If the Kangs could really get their hands on it, then they'd be much more powerful than they were now. Xiao Xiao came to school in the afternoon, and what surprised Lin Yi was that she was still very calm. At least, there wasn't much anger on her face. It was the same as that time when Lin Yi had poured his piss on her, nothing could be seen on her face. Lin Yi guessed that she was planning her next revenge. Lin Yi felt wronged. Why did this girl have to make life difficult for him? If he couldn't mess with her, why couldn't he just avoid her? Since you're here, then I'll leave. Lin Yi decided to skip class in the afternoon. He'd received a call from Xuemin earlier, saying that Fatty Lai had already completed the transfer of the building's ownership. As long as Lin Yi nodded, it would be transferred to Guan Xian's name. The medicine that Xuemin had applied for approval had also been approved. In the medical world, with Xuemin's connections, this wasn't a difficult matter. It was just a formality, and the medicine company was right in front of him. The only thing missing was a professional manager. Lin Yi used this chance to go to Xuemin's place to discuss the medicine company. As for Xiao Xiao, he'd leave her alone in school. Seeing Lin Yi leave, Xiao Xiao's lips curled into a subtle smile. She couldn't wait for Lin Yi to leave. She wanted to have a good talk with Kong Xiaobo about Lin Yi's weakness. From the looks of it, messing around like this wasn't a solution at all. Lin Yi's skills were far beyond his imagination, and his reflexes were also unimaginable. Even after the firecracker had been lit, he was still able to take it off his body and tie it to himself, even tying it into a knot. His reaction speed shocked Xiao Xiao. Sitting on the thick cushion, Xiao Xiao poked Kong Xiaobo's back. "Do you have time? Can you tell me about your boss?" Kong Xiaobo had witnessed the firecracker explosion yesterday, and he was wondering what was going on. He wanted to ask about it, but he didn't know how to ask Xiao Xiao. Xiao Xiao took the initiative to talk to him. "Yesterday, what happened to you? Why did you get blown up by the firecrackers?" Kong Xiaobo wasn't with Lin Yi yesterday, so he didn't see what happened. "It was an accident. Let's not talk about that. Tell me about Lin Yi." Xiao Xiao evidently didn't want to talk about the firecrackers. "You saw it, too. Lin Yi left the moment I came. He's obviously avoiding me." Xiao Xiao looked at Kong Xiaobo bitterly. She was as pitiful as she could be, like a woman who got dumped. It was impossible not to sympathize with her. Chapter 445. Chapter 445, Lin Yi was stunned. "Right, you didn't finish what you told me last time. I want to go after Lin Yi, what do I have to do?" Xiao Xiao lowered her voice. "Well, I don't think it's too hard. Boss is a soft-hearted person, and he can be persuaded, but not cowed. Reality has proven that if you were to be a little more gentle and act coquettishly, boss wouldn't ignore you anymore." Kong Xiaobo said after some hesitation. It wasn't right to talk about his boss behind his back, but Xiao Xiao was quite pitiful. She was a girl who transferred schools for the man she loved, but not only did she not receive his understanding and praise, she was even given a cold shoulder. This made Kong Xiaobo sympathize with her, and so he spoke a little more. "Oh. Lin Yi can be persuaded, but not cowed, huh?" Xiao Xiao couldn't help but pause after hearing Kong Xiaobo's words. Kong Xiaobo was one of the closest people to Lin Yi, and now that he said that, did that mean that there was something wrong with her strategy? It seemed that blindly trying to make Lin Yi look bad or threaten him wouldn't have any effect, and might even have the opposite effect. It seemed that she would have to change her plan in order to make Lin Yi submit. "Yeah, I think that girls need to learn how to act coquettishly. Look at you, you don't even know how to act coquettishly, how could boss like you?" Kong Xiaobo said matter-of-factly. "You know, sis-in-law Tang Yun isn't any worse than you, she's even a little taller than you. If you really like boss, then you need to be gentle." "Is that so?" Xiao Xiao frowned, he wanted her to be a little gentler. Be gentle to a boy? What a joke, she was Xiao Xiao. Why would she try to please a boy? Wouldn't people laugh their heads off if they found out? No, definitely not. Especially acting coquettishly. Since when did she know how to act coquettishly? She'd never acted coquettishly before, so how could she? But if she didn't do that, then Lin Yi wouldn't teach her how to race. Was racing really that important? Xiao Xiao was at a loss. She'd wanted to find Lin Yi because Lin Yi ignored her last time, and she was a little pissed off. A little follower was acting all cocky with her. She'd been pissed, and finding Lin Yi was just a way to vent her frustration. Learning to race with him was just a condition. Xiao Xiao had wanted to ask Lin Yi to teach her how to race, and Lin Yi would have agreed, but he didn't even look at her. That was fine, Xiao Xiao could take it, but what she couldn't take it was that Lin Yi drenched her with his piss and tied the firecrackers to her butt with a dead knot. Tian Yi, Lin too. Xiao Xiao couldn't take it anymore, she wanted revenge. This wasn't as simple as learning to race. She hated Lin Yi to the core, and she had to make Lin Yi pay a price to appease her anger. With that, Kong Xiaobo's suggestion really needed to be thought. The key was how to do it. Even if Xiao Xiao was acting coquettishly to Lin Yi, asking Lin Yi to teach her how to race, it was just a small matter to Xiao Xiao. Racing or not wasn't important anymore, she had to make Lin Yi pay. Right. Xiao Xiao's eyes lit up. Since Lin Yi liked Tang Yun, then she'd really be the third party and ruin the relationship between Lin Yi and Tang Yun. Then she'd make Lin Yi fall in love with her, and then she'd dump Lin Yi. When Lin Yi couldn't pull himself out, she'd tell him the truth, and he'd probably be crying by then, wouldn't he? With that thought, Xiao Xiao was filled with fighting spirit. With her beauty, wouldn't it be easy to get Lin Yi? No matter how close he was with Tang Yun, they weren't in the same class. He and Lin Yi, on the other hand, were in the same class. They were deskmates, too. Wouldn't it be too much of a failure if he couldn't win this battle of love with Lin Yi with this kind of advantage? Xiao Xiao's expression kept changing, happy, angry, and hopeful. Kong Xiaobo thought that she'd thought it through. I'm telling you this because I pity you, but don't ruin the relationship between boss and Tang Yun. I won't, I just need to be nice to him from the sidelines, paying attention to him. I don't need him to like me. Xiao Xiao nodded. But you have to keep it a secret for me. Of course, Kong Xiaobo nodded with a smile. He did sympathize with a girl like Xiao Xiao. When Lin Yi got to the villa, he was surprised to see 2 police cars parked in front of the villa. One was Ling Shan's police car, and the other was Huaijuan's car, the one that picked him up at school last time. Lin Yi wasn't surprised that Huaijuan was here, but Lin Yi found it odd that Ling Shan was here as well. Why was she here? He pressed the doorbell, and the one who opened the door was the housekeeper, Auntie Lu. She knew Lin Yi, and quickly invited Lin Yi in. She helped him get his slippers. Professor Guan is in the study, and there are 2 guests. One of them is Mr. Yang, whom you know. Ah, got it. I'll go find them myself. I know the other one too. Lin Yi smiled. Alright, Auntie Lu didn't say anything else after hearing that Lin Yi knew them. She went back to her work. Lin Yi knocked on the door, and Xuemin's voice came from inside. Is this Yi? You're here already? It's me. Lin Yi opened the door and nodded with a smile. He was startled by a figure walking up to him. He wanted to dodge, but when he saw who it was, Lin Yi could only smile bitterly. Huaijuan gave Lin Yi a bear hug as he laughed. How's my body now? Lin Yi rolled his eyes. You won't die for now, but you'll have to wait if you want to get your strength back. I can get my strength back. Huaijuan blinked at Lin Yi's words, but it quickly turned into joy. Eagle. Lin Yi, are you saying that I can get my strength back? When have I ever said that? Lin Yi shrugged. Ling Shan, however, curled her lips in disdain before Huaijuan could say anything. It happens all the time. Miss Brain Dead, no one will think you're a mute if you don't talk. Lin Yi wasn't happy with Ling Shan's interruption. He glared at her. Stop begging me next time. Just think of the things I promised you before as nothing but empty promises. Young bro, look, he's bullying me. Ling Shan said pitifully as she looked at Huaijuan. Chapter 446. Chapter 446, The other side of Ling Shan. Lin Yi almost fell on his butt. He was shocked by Ling Shan's sudden change in gender. "Huh, Song, you should find a man who can control you, or you'll be too wild," Huaijuan said with a smile. "Ah. Young bro. What? What are you talking about? What man?" Ling Shan's eyes were wide open, her face red as she glared at Huaijuan. "Girls have to get married." Huaijuan, however, didn't mind at all. "Plus, I need to ask Lin Yi for help, too." "You. Ask him too." Ling Shan had always been suspicious of Lin Yi's identity. Even if he was a very strong bodyguard, there was no reason for Huaijuan to praise Lin Yi like this. After all, Huaijuan didn't admire people that easily, and yet he was lowering himself in front of Lin Yi. It was something that Ling Shan couldn't understand. Huaijuan had retired from that mysterious organization, and while he was injured and not as strong as he used to be, he'd still had his glory days, and he was brave and smart. There was no way he'd praise someone so easily. But as for Lin Yi, Ling Shan really couldn't figure out what sort of connection the two had. The most suspicious thing was that Huaijuan had almost lost his composure the first time he met Lin Yi. Huaijuan nodded seriously. "I'm begging him to treat me now." Huaijuan wanted to play matchmaker for Lin Yi and Ling Shan. The Song family wasn't weak, but they didn't interfere with Ling Shan's marriage too much, especially since the Song family came from an ancient martial arts house. They worshipped strength, and so Elder Song was very supportive of Ling Shan's decision to find a man who could beat her. Lin Yi, on the other hand, fit the bill perfectly. This alone was enough for Lin Yi to give it a try. But what troubled Huaijuan was Ning. He knew that Lin Yi wouldn't be accepted by her family, but he couldn't help but help her again and again. What kind of mentality was this? He had buried the feelings he had for Xiao Ning in the depths of his heart and turned it into the protection of her happiness. Ling Shan didn't know what to say. She'd thought that Huaijuan would be able to give her some courage today, but it seemed that she'd miscalculated. Huaijuan couldn't order Lin Yi around. "Ha! You doubted me before, so we're off the deal," Lin Yi said as he sat down on the sofa beside Ling Shan. Ling Shan almost vomited blood from regret after hearing Lin Yi's words. She wouldn't have said that if she'd known this would happen. She'd thought that Huaijuan would back her up, only to realize that she'd made a huge mistake. Ling Shan gritted her teeth as she looked at that "I don't need your help, so don't bother me" look on Lin Yi's face, but there was nothing she could do. She wanted to ease up her relationship with Lin Yi, so she kicked Lin Yi. "Hey! Why are you so stingy?" "It's not a matter of being stingy, it's a matter of principle." I won't help you." Lin Yi, on the other hand, was quite relaxed. He didn't want to get involved in Ling Shan's business anymore. He wouldn't have bothered if it weren't for Huaijuan. Now that the opportunity presented itself, Lin Yi pushed it away cleanly. Ling Shan glared at him, but there was nothing she could do. After some hesitation, she pulled on the corner of Lin Yi's shirt and whispered into his ear. "Miss Braindead was wrong, all right. Just forgive her this once." Ling Shan's body was trembling as she spoke. Since when had she ever lowered herself to someone like this? But in front of Lin Yi, she had no choice but to lower herself. Why was she so unlucky? He had her in his palm, and she didn't even have a chance to turn things around. "Ah. Alright, I'll forgive you this once then." Lin Yi was moved by Ling Shan. He didn't think that this girl would be able to move Lin Yi's heart when she acted like a spoiled child. All beautiful girls were cute, the key was whether or not they knew how to show their cute side. Lin Yi came to a conclusion. It seemed that he was being kind, after all. This wasn't a good sign. What if a female assassin acted like a spoiled child in the future? Would he let her go? Lingshan's voice was soft and Guan Shuamin couldn't hear it, but Huaijuan, who was sitting beside her, heard it loud and clear. Huaijuan was strong, and while he was injured and dropped a level, he was still a golden class early phase at his peak. His hearing was naturally better than a normal person's, and he almost fainted when he heard what Lingshan said to Lin Yi. Was this still the Lingshan he knew? Lingshan would show her little girl side in front of him, but that was only because she saw him as a big brother, an elder. There was no other meaning behind it. But as for Lin Yi wasn't even as old as her, was he? Could it be that song had fallen for him this time? Huaijuan was suspicious, but he could only pretend that he didn't hear it. This was a matter of a girl's face. She might be able to say that in front of Lin Yi, but if other people heard it, she'd probably kill herself. Lingshan glared at Lin Yi hatefully, but she'd gotten an answer she was satisfied with. She turned her head away and ignored him. Shuamin didn't know what was going on, but his instincts told him that Lin Yi and Lingshan's relationship wasn't normal. He sighed inwardly. He'd seen his granddaughter's feelings for him, and if it were any other boy, he'd have the confidence to make it happen, but this was Lin Yi, and he didn't have any confidence at all. First of all, Lin Yi's medical skills were better than his, and second, Lin Yi should be different in other areas other than his medical skills. He was very outstanding. This was something he could tell from the conversation between Lingshan and Lin Yi. Wait a bit. Yang and Song have something to talk to me about, and they've just arrived. We'll talk about other things after they're done. Shuamin said to Lin Yi. He'd become closer to Lin Yi, and he'd already considered Lin Yi as half a family member. He didn't need to be too polite. Yeah, it's fine. I'll sit here for a bit. Lin Yi said before looking at Huaijuan. Should I leave for a bit? With that, Lin Yi was about to stand up. Lingshan wanted to drag Lin Yi back with her claws. She'd wanted Lin Yi's help with this, so why did he have to leave? It's fine. You can listen in as well, you'll be able to help if you find any clues. Huaijuan said with a wave of his hand. Plus, I'm creating opportunities for you and Song, aren't I? Wah. Lin Yi's eyes went wide, and so did Lingshan. Lin Yi was a little speechless. Why was Huaijuan always trying to get him and Lingshan together? Lingshan, on the other hand, was surprised that young bro would act so frivolously in front of Lin Yi. He must have been led astray by the kid, that had to be it. She'd make sure to teach Lin Yi a lesson the day she could turn things around. But, it didn't seem like she could turn things around just yet. She still had to work hard. After sending Huaijuan and Lingshan off, Lin Yi returned to Guan Shuamin's study. Guan Shuamin was on the phone when Lin Yi came in. I called Mr. Lai, he'll be here soon. Mr. Lai. Fatty Lai, right? Lin Yi froze for a moment before reacting. That's him. Guan Shuamin, naturally, couldn't call Lai Changyi Fatty Lai. The two hadn't spoken much when voices came from outside the study, and a ball-like person rolled into the study. Fatty Lai had been here before, so Aunt Lu recognized him. He was let in as soon as he arrived. But Fatty Lai heard from Guan Shuamin that Lin Yi was here as well, so he panicked a little. He really wanted to see Lin Yi. He hadn't seen him since the birthday banquet, so he tripped at the door and rolled into the study. Lin Yi jumped at Fatty Lai. What kind of martial arts are you practicing? Even if you wanted to come in quickly, you didn't have to come in like this, did you? Heh. It's a mistake, I tripped and fell. Fatty Lai was a little embarrassed. Miracle Dr. Lin, I finally get to see you. I miss you so much. Sob, I thought you didn't want me anymore, that I'd never see you again. You don't know how excited I was when Professor Guan called me. I wasn't even as excited as I was when I got married. Alright. Just stay away from me, I'm a little scared. I don't doubt your sexual orientation, but I'm still wary of you, Lin Yi said after getting a meter away from Fatty Lai. It's okay, I'm happy to see you, Miracle Dr. Lin. Fatty Lai didn't mind that Lin Yi looked down on him at all. He took out a document from his backpack. Miracle Dr. Lin, please have a look. The building's ownership has been transferred to Miss Guan Xian's name. As soon as Miss Guan Xian signs it, the contract will come into effect. Oh. Isn't your new company in the building? What are you going to do if it's all transferred? Lin Yi asked curiously. I'm a tenant now, and I'll pay the rent on time. Fatty Lai said. Miracle Dr. Lin, you're not kicking me out, are you? Lin Yi thought that Fatty Lai was a little troublesome, but he didn't have a reason to kick him out. He'd given his building to you, and it wasn't right to kick him out. I won't, just stay here. Don't worry about the rent. Lin Yi waved his hand. Heh, I'll stay here then. Fatty Lai had made up his mind. He was going to stick to Lin Yi. He could see that being close to Lin Yi would bring him a lot of benefits in the future. Lin Yi wasn't familiar with him before, and he didn't really like him, but it didn't matter. They'd get to know each other after a while. Wasn't everything good now? At least Lin Yi was willing to see him, and that was a good start. Chapter 448. Have a bad attitude. Fatty Lai was basically giving this skyscraper to Lin Yi for free. Lin Yi felt that he should return something to Fatty Lai, so he decided to ask about his father's condition. Fatty Lai froze when he heard Lin Yi's question. He couldn't believe his ears, but he was overjoyed when he confirmed that there was nothing wrong with his hearing. Fatty Lai burst into tears, his eyes brimming with hot tears. He felt that all his hard work had finally paid off. Lin Yi didn't want to see him before, didn't want to talk to him, but now, he took the initiative to ask about his father's illness. This made Fatty Lai feel flattered. Sob. Miracle Dr. Lin, I knew you were a good person, you would care about my father. Fatty Lai was about to kneel down in front of Lin Yi. I thank you on behalf of my father. Alright, stop. Stop right now. Lin Yi was scared out of his wits by Fatty Lai's actions. Don't be like that. If you do that again, I won't ask next time. I shouldn't have said so much, don't. I won't cry, sob. I'm just moved, I'm crying tears of joy. Fatty Lai quickly stood up and wiped his tears. Fatty Lai lived up to his nickname as a crybaby. His tears came and went quickly, and he was all smiles again. As long as you don't cry, you can call me normally next time. Lin Yi was a little speechless. He really admired this guy. In order to make him cry a few times less, Lin Yi gave him phone privileges. Really? That's great, Miracle Dr. Lin. Fatty Lai was so excited that he was about to cry again, but when he remembered what Lin Yi said just now, he stopped crying. Now let's talk about your father's condition. He has uremia, right? Lin Yi waved his hand to stop Fatty Lai. Even if the guy didn't cry, he'd still be dawdling. Yes, uremia. After taking half of the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, there's a clear effect. He's already awake, and he's in much better spirits. All his vitals are starting to improve, but the doctor said that he's still not completely recovered. Although the treatment can be maintained, I don't know if it'll worsen. Fatty Lai said worriedly. Have you had a kidney transplant before? Lin Yi nodded and asked. No. He's too old. I'm afraid he won't be able to get off the operating table. The doctor doesn't recommend surgery either, Fatty Lai said honestly. That's easy. Lin Yi said, well, I'll write down some traditional Chinese medicine. You go out and buy it for me. I'll make it and let your father drink it for a week. After a week, he'll come here to change the dressing. Ah. All right. Thank you, Miracle Dr. Lin. Fatty Lai was beyond excited. He felt like he'd finally bet on the right treasure. It seemed like Miracle Dr. Lin was a kind person. After all his coaxing and pestering, Miracle Dr. Lin was finally willing to help. Lin Yi didn't completely trust Fatty Lai yet, so he didn't ask him to buy all the important ingredients for the first time. He only wrote down the names of the herbs needed for the first course of treatment. The dosage wasn't precise either, around 5 ounces of each herb. He even wrote down the names of a few useless ones. Fatty Lai carefully took the prescription from Lin Yi, afraid that he'd lose it. He put it in his pocket and rushed out to buy the herbs. After sending Fatty Lai away, Lin Yi let out a sigh of relief. He turned to Xuemin. "Grandpa Guan, are the procedures for the pharmaceutical company and the approval of the herbs done?" "Yeah, these are all small things. I don't need to do anything. I've asked Xiang to do it. They'll be here soon." Xuemin nodded. As they were talking, there was a knock on the door, and then the door was pushed open. "Dad, I've brought the ingredients you wanted." A middle-aged man walked in. His face looked like Xuemin's. He must be Xuemin's son, Guan Xiaoxiang. "Just leave it here." "Oh, right, let me introduce you. This is the Lin Yi I mentioned to you, Mr. Lin." Xuemin introduced Lin Yi to Xiaoxiang. "Hello, Uncle Guan." Lin Yi quickly got up to greet him. After all, Xiaoxiang was his elder, and Lin Yi didn't dare to be careless. However, Xiaoxiang's attitude towards Lin Yi was very calm. He nodded and said indifferently, "Hello, Mr. Lin." If Lin Yi called Xiaoxiang uncle, then he shouldn't have called Lin Yi Mr. Lin. Even if he was being polite, he shouldn't have been so cold. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. He didn't know how he had offended Xiaoxiang. He felt awkward and didn't know what to say. Xuemin tried to smooth things over. "Xiaoxiang, are you busy at the company?" "Not bad." Xiaoxiang said indifferently, "Dad, why did you suddenly think of starting a company? I thought you didn't like to use your own name to do things. Don't get confused when you're old. Be careful that your reputation will be ruined." "Xiaoxiang, what nonsense are you talking about?" Xuemin's face suddenly became gloomy. He glared at his son, "Are you okay? If not, you can leave. I'm very busy at the company. I came back to deliver the ingredients to you. Of course I have to hurry back." Xiaoxiang said indifferently, "I'm just reminding you. Don't be fooled." After saying that, Xiaoxiang looked at Lin Yi, then turned around and left the room. He didn't say anything else and quickly left the villa. The sound of the door closing could be heard from outside. This kid. Xuemin was so angry that he couldn't breathe. He smiled bitterly and shook his head. He said to Lin Yi, "Don't mind him. Ah. Uncle Guan is doing this for your own good. He's afraid that I'm a scammer." Lin Yi smiled, showing that he understood. Actually, what Xiaoxiang said was not wrong. Although it was a bit disrespectful, he was standing on the side of a family and reminding Xuemin not to be fooled. It was just that the way he expressed it was a bit too direct. He could have said it after Lin Yi left, but Lin Yi didn't care about that. "It's not against you." Xuemin shook his head, "This kid still hates me. He's still brooding about what happened in the past." "What happened in the past?" Lin Yi was a bit surprised. "That eldest son of mine, I've told you before. He's a lazy, jobless man. He relied on my reputation to rope in some pharmacists and started a medical business. He's doing quite well," Xuemin said. "So, when my youngest son was about to graduate from university, he teamed up with a classmate he was close to and wanted to set up a clinic under my name. I rejected him harshly. So, he's still brooding about me using my name to set up a medical company with you." Chapter 449. The company's planning, probably. He's already an adult, but he's still acting like a child. Guan Shuamin smiled. Actually, he knows that I'm not an idiot. That's why he helped me with the paperwork so quickly. What he said just now wasn't directed at you, but at me, expressing his dissatisfaction. You've only suffered because of me. Anyone else would have done the same. I see. Lin Yi nodded in realization. But Uncle Guan seems to be doing pretty well now. No longer relying on your family. Since then, he hasn't relied on me for anything. Guan Shuamin shook his head and said with a bitter smile, however, Xiao Xiang is lucky, he found an even more powerful backer, and now he's doing very well. When he's free, he wants to prove to me that he can succeed without relying on me. I didn't think Uncle Guan had this side to him. Lin Yi smiled. He probably knows that you were doing it for his own good, but the knot in his heart hasn't been untied yet. Of course he knows, but he's still brooding about it. Guan Shuamin said. Alright, forget about him. It's been so many years, I've gotten used to it. He might look like he doesn't like it, but he's still good to me. I don't even know who my parents are, haha. Lin Yi was a little saddened. He'd only understood the meaning of his parents after he grew up, but he still brooded over the fact that they'd abandoned him. Fortunately, he had two masters who loved him dearly, and that replaced the love he'd had when he was young. Guan Shuamin paused. He'd had many guesses about Lin Yi's parentage, even thinking that Lin Yi was the descendant of the benefactor who'd taught him all those years ago. It was one of the reasons he trusted Lin Yi unconditionally, but he'd never dared to ask. On one hand, Lin Yi didn't want to talk about his parentage, and on the other, he was afraid that Lin Yi would keep it a secret. It'd only make things awkward if he didn't tell him. You don't know who your parents are? Guan Shuamin looked at Lin Yi in shock. I only have two masters, but they're both nice to me, treating me like their own son. They're a bit strict, but I know they're doing it for my own good. Lin Yi didn't hide his identity on purpose, there wasn't much to hide. It's good that you have this mentality. But as long as someone treats you well, regardless of whether they are your biological parents or not, you will treat them as family, right? Guan Shuamin smiled. Master. In other words, a master is like a father. Yes, that's right. Therefore, I didn't lack love in my childhood. My mentality is also very normal. Lin Yi nodded seriously. Your medical skills were taught to you by your master. Guan Shuamin hesitated for a moment before asking. Yeah, one of them taught me martial arts, another taught me medicine, and a bad master taught me how to steal and gamble. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. I see. Guan Shuamin felt a bit of a headache at the complicated relationship between Lin Yi's masters. If your medical skills are already this good, then your master, I can't say that, Grandpa Guan. Both my old man and my kung fu master are special people. I'll have to keep it a secret without their permission. Lin Yi didn't want to hide anything from Guan Shuamin, but Lin Yi couldn't say anything without his master's permission. Even people close to him like Huijuan didn't know about this. It's fine, I'm just asking. Guan Shuamin was a bit disappointed, but he didn't blame Lin Yi. After all, Lin Yi was doing the right thing. Let's talk about the company. The medicines that are ready for the market right now are pain relievers and injury medicine. I can't make any decisions on the other types without the formulas. There are some formulas for the other types, but which ones are more popular? Lin Yi didn't know much about business. Well, as long as it's effective, it'll sell well. Guan Shuamin said. Common cold medicine, for example. If you can make a traditional medicine with minimal side effects, it'll sell well too. But these are all established pharmaceutical companies with established formulas and brands. It's pointless for us to go in and fight for the market. It's true that the common cold medicine's formulas are already set. Even if I were to change it, it wouldn't be much of an improvement. The best way would be to supplement it with acupuncture or cupping, but that's impossible unless it's a clinic. You can't just get acupuncture and cupping for free, can you? Lin Yi nodded with a smile. I'm not an expert when it comes to business, actually. I'm just giving my personal opinion. Guan Shuamin said. You should hire a management expert to run the company. That's true. It's not that easy to find a professional manager. Lin Yi knew that Guan Shuamin was speaking the truth. First of all, is the person trustworthy, and second, is he really capable? After all, the success of a pharmaceutical company depends on the professional manager's ability. I think you should ask Mr. Lai about that. He's been in the business world for a long time, and he should have some experience. It shouldn't be too hard to ask him to find a professional manager. Guan Shuamin said. At least it'll be easier than looking for one ourselves. That's true. Lin Yi nodded. Fatty Lai left for about half an hour before rushing back with a few bags of herbs in his hands. He barged into Guan Shuamin's study. Miracle Dr. Lin, I bought them all. With that, Fatty Lai placed the bags on the coffee table in front of Lin Yi. Lin Yi looked at the huge pile of bags in front of him, confused. Why was there so much? Even if he bought a kilo of each herb, there wouldn't be this many. Lin Yi opened a bag and checked the herbs inside. They were all packed according to his prescription. He couldn't help but feel strange. Isn't this enough? What's in the other bags? The other bags are the same, but I bought them at different points. Fatty Lai said, panting. There are a lot of scammers these days. I was afraid that I'd buy fake medicine in one pharmacy, so I thought about buying from a few more. I thought that there should be some real ones, right? Chapter 450. Volunteering himself, Lin Yi looked through the other bags of herbs. Other than a few that have been stored for a little too long, they're all real. That's good, that's good. Fatty Lai was afraid that all the herbs he bought were fake, so it was fine as long as there were real ones. Then Miracle Dr. Lin, please pick the good ones and use them. Alright, Grandpa Guan, do you have a furnace for decocting herbs? Lin Yi asked. Yes, I'll get Aunt Lu to bring it over. Shuamin was a traditional Chinese medicine expert, so his house naturally didn't lack equipment for decocting herbs. Then. Do I need to leave for a moment? Fatty Lai was a sensible man. He was afraid that Lin Yi would be careful when he decocted the herbs, so he didn't want to attract unwanted attention. No need, just sit here. I have some things to ask you about the company's opening. Lin Yi waved his hand, gesturing for Fatty Lai to sit. Ask me. Fatty Lai was flattered, rubbing his chubby hands together. I wouldn't dare to ask for advice, but I can only make decisions. Don't worry, I'll tell you everything I know. Miracle Dr. Lin, you're asking me to speak because you think highly of me. Aunt Lu quickly brought the decocting equipment over, and Lin Yi nimbly picked out some fresh herbs and threw them into the frying pan. It looked like a random grab, but the amount was actually very precise. Fatty Lai was secretly amazed, but didn't think much of it. Lin Yi's medical skills weren't just for show, and this was nothing compared to his other skills. Even Shuamin was surprised by Lin Yi's speed. It seemed like Lin Yi didn't even look at the equipment before he finished the process. Fatty Lai, my medicine company has 2 initial products ready for the market. One is a painkiller with no side effects, and the other is an injury medicine. How do you think we should advertise it? Lin Yi asked. Miracle Dr. Lin, is this injury medicine similar to Dr. Kang's Golden Creation medicine? Fatty Lai showed a shrewd face when it came to business, no longer the crybaby and soft-hearted man he was before. Almost. I haven't seen Jinchuan medicine before, but my injury medicine can also help the wound heal quickly without leaving any scars. Lin Yi nodded and said. That should be about it. Fatty Lie pondered for a while and said, "My suggestion is to use this injury medicine first and use it to get famous." "Oh. What do you mean?" Lin Yi looked at Fatty Lie. Both Lin Yi and Xuemin wanted to release both medicines together, but Fatty Lie wanted to release them in batches. We will only introduce one medicine that has similar effects to the most amazing Dr. Kang's golden creation medicine in the market. This way, everyone will compare us. Fatty Lie said, "They will have some doubts about our product in the beginning, but once they realize that the effects are the same as Dr. Kang's medicine, they will start to lean towards us." Of course, there are two prerequisites. One is that our product's price must be lower than theirs, and the other is that we must have sufficient supply. According to what I know, there are a few ingredients in Dr. Kang's golden creation medicine that are produced in low quantities, and they give priority to special organizations and the military. That's why they don't sell a lot in the civilian market. So if they can't buy their product, the consumers will choose us. Of course, if our product is better than theirs, then we don't have to lower the price. Or if we can't increase our production, then no matter what, the market will still be out of stock. There's no point in fighting with them for the market. Fatty Lie finished in one breath and wiped the sweat off his forehead. Lin Yi and Xuemin were stunned. They didn't expect Fatty Lie to be so skillful. Not only was he a crybaby, but he was also a genius. Then the sales of the painkillers. Lin Yi didn't have much experience in the business world, so he continued to ask humbly. "As long as our injury medicine is a hit, the painkillers won't be a problem." Fatty Lie said. "Once our first product hits the market and is accepted by the consumers, there's basically no need to advertise our second product. Of course, we can also hold a live press conference." "I see." Lin Yi nodded, enlightened. "Then should we still hold the auction I've been planning?" "I'm planning to auction off a few of the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, but..." Lin Yi hesitated. He wasn't familiar with Fatty Lie, so he couldn't make it sound too easy to concoct the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. If he said it was like candy, then he'd have to scam an entire skyscraper off for half a pill. That'd be a huge loss. Although he was the one who offered it. Lin Yi didn't want Fatty Lie to scold him behind his back. He continued. "But it's not easy to concoct the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. Many of the ingredients are almost extinct, so there's a limited number of them. We can't mass produce them right now. If we auction this, won't it seem like it has nothing to do with the medicine company's products?" "Of course not. It's a gimmick." Fatty Lie waved his hands. This pill of life extension and toxin cleansing was really good stuff. It was wise of him to dig half a pill out of a pile of dog shit. Lin Yi probably didn't have many of these pills left. This was a priceless treasure. "I thought it was a gimmick too, but from what you're saying, it doesn't seem like a gimmick anymore." Lin Yi asked. "How is it meaningless?" Fatty Lie waved his hand. "We can announce this pill of life extension and toxin cleansing to the public. It's a limited edition ingredient because the success rate is low and the ingredients are rare. Well, we can just say that it's a limited edition ingredient given to us by the expert who provided us the recipe. The rarer something is, the greater its value. When the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing achieves good results, the price of our injury medicine will naturally rise as well." Lin Yi nodded, thinking that Fatty Lie's idea wasn't bad. "Do you know where I can hire a professional manager to manage the company?" "Well." Fatty Lie's eyes flashed with excitement and anticipation when he heard Lin Yi's words. His face flushed a little. "What do you think of me?" "You." Lin Yi paused for a moment before understanding what Fatty Lie meant. "You're saying you want to be a professional manager?" "Yeah, what do you think of me?" "I've been in the business world for more than 10 years. I'm quite experienced," Fatty Lie said, thumping his chest. But your trading company and real estate company. Lin Yi looked at Fatty Lai, confused. Chapter 451. Another follower. Lin Yi didn't know what was wrong with Fatty Lai. Why was he abandoning his existing company and coming to a new one to be a manager? You don't want your family's business anymore. Lin Yi couldn't figure out Fatty Lai's intentions. Miracle Dr. Lin, I gave my family's business to my brother. I don't want it anymore. I don't care about it. I don't want to fight and scheme against him all the time. Fatty Lai chuckled. Besides, I think that following you will have a better future than running those family businesses. Miracle Dr. Lin, I can foresee that your company will be even more powerful than that Dr. Kang's medical group. I'll be the manager of the group and your spokesperson, Miracle Dr. Lin. Won't I be the best? When my brother finds out about the importance of the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, he'll be begging me on his knees. Begging? Is that rare? Don't you always kneel and cry? Lin Yi couldn't help but admire Fatty Lai's courage. He'd abandoned his family's business to follow him. That's different. You're a miracle doctor. I wouldn't kneel and cry to anyone else, Fatty Lai said, a little embarrassed. Lin Yi thought that this guy was a natural crybaby. He didn't think that it was just directed at him. This gave Lin Yi quite a headache. You have a good idea, but this medical group of mine is just a spur-of-the-moment thing. I don't know if it can continue or if there will be any new products. Lin Yi had to get the ugly part out of the way first. Who knew what he was going to do in the future? Even his old man didn't have a clear answer. It's fine, Miracle Dr. Lin. Why don't you take me in as your follower? Fatty Lai was a smart man. He'd seen through the facts a long time ago. Lin Yi wasn't an ordinary person, and there was no harm in following him. Fatty Lai had grown up in a rich family, so he didn't care much about money anymore. What he pursued was fame and status, and Lin Yi could help him achieve this dream. Being someone else's lackey wasn't a fun thing to do, but it depended on who it was. Fatty Lai was more than willing to be Lin Yi's lackey. How awesome was Lin Yi? People with medical skills like Lin Yi's were people that all the big families and forces would fight to curry favor with. Which one of them hadn't experienced illness and death? However, if Lin Yi could delay their deaths, why wouldn't they rush to him like a flock of ducks? At that time, even if he was just a follower, he would be Lin Yi's spokesperson outside. Lin Yi was very busy every day. How could he have time to entertain outsiders? Once this little brother of his appeared, Fatty Lai was elated just thinking about it. What was an electronics industrial park to him? His brother was really short-sighted. Look at himself, how smart was his decision. People had to be thick-skinned and crybaby. Look at himself. He was thick-skinned and a crybaby. Didn't he gain Lin Yi's favor just like that? You want to be a lackey? Lin Yi looked at Fatty Lai oddly. I don't need lackeys. Not at all. Boss Lin Yi, listen to me. Fatty Lai began to analyze, and he called Lin Yi Boss Lin Yi smoothly. Lin Yi was helpless. Boss, what kind of status do you have? When the medical corporation is established, there will be big families coming to ask for medicine. Everyone wants to see you, boss. Can you see them all? Boss is already very busy every day, and he still has to chase girls and enjoy life. How can he have time to deal with them? That's when you need a lackey to help you deal with these things. And I'm just the right person. Lin Yi thought about it. Fatty Lai's words made sense, so he said, but I already have a follower. You're talking about Kong Xiaobo? Think about it, that's not enough. Fatty Lai shook his head. How can a lackey do that? Kong Xiaobo will be by your side all day, accompanying you to school and enjoying life. He can't handle company business every day, can he? He can just be the vice chairman, and I'll be the little brother who helps you take care of the company's affairs. Lin Yi nodded, but what Lin Yi didn't mention was that he had a lackey in his old home called Air Gooden. But thinking about Gooden's IQ, Lin Yi shook his head. This kid could only be a fighter and a punching bag. He was all brawn and no brains. And, he'll give Gooden a call one day and see what he's up to. It's been a while since he went back, and he kind of missed him. Seeing that Lin Yi was a little tempted, Fatty Lai quickly added fuel to the fire. Plus, what kind of person are you, boss? You can't just have a lackey by your side, right? Look at all the big shots who don't have a lot of lackeys around them. Each lackey has their own role: bodyguards, personal secretaries, housekeepers, nannies, and mistresses. All right. Stop wasting time. I'll reluctantly accept you as a temporary lackey. Once you pass the inspection, you'll be promoted to an official one. Lin Yi was getting impatient from Fatty Lai's words. Fatty Lai's words made sense, and so Lin Yi agreed. But he was still someone else's lackey, and now Fatty Lai was his lackey. What would it be like when he went out with the miss in the future? Even a follower has a follower. I'm afraid I've already become the most awesome follower in the history of the game. Then I'll be Miracle Dr. Lin's lackey from now on. Fatty Lai was overjoyed, automatically ignoring the word temporary. Don't worry, I'll take care of this medicine company. Lin Yi was a little speechless. This Fatty Lai was even more enthusiastic than he was. It seemed that having a lackey like this would save him a lot of trouble in the future. But Lin Yi didn't fully trust Fatty Lai yet. He didn't know what kind of person this guy was, and there were some things he couldn't trust him with. He'd have to observe him for a while before deciding. He gave the concoction to Fatty Lai and sent him away. Lin Yi sat back on the sofa in Xuemin's study. Grandpa Guan, what do you think of this? You mean Mr. Lai? Xuemin asked. And, why doesn't this guy seem very reliable? Lin Yi felt that Fatty Lai's way of talking and doing things didn't seem like a business elite, but more like an idiot. If it weren't for Fatty Lai's suggestions on how to run the company, Lin Yi would have thought that the kid was just a playboy. Chapter 452. Chapter 452, Guan Xuemin's sense of danger. Lin Yi paused at Xuemin's words. He hadn't expected Fatty Lai to be this capable. He'd thought the guy was just a theoretical weakling. So you're saying that Fatty Lai really wants to help? He's not an idiot. He knows that he'll have a brighter future if he follows someone. Guan Xuemin chuckled. If not for that half of the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing he picked out from the trash can, perhaps he wouldn't have made such a big decision. However, the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing gave him confidence and solidified his future direction. Lin Yi nodded. If Xuemin's information was correct, then that was the only explanation. Lin Yi was secretly impressed by Fatty Lai's foresight. He'd actually forced him to be his boss. Grandpa Guan, do you have any suggestions on how to split the shares? Now that Fatty Lai was here, Lin Yi thought about the issue of share distribution. I'm not an expert myself, but I think that half of the shares should be in your hands. Xuemin suggested after some thought. We're all on good terms right now, but it's better to be safe than sorry. If you control half of the shares, you'll have the right to speak in the future. This is very important. All right. Lin Yi wasn't worried that someone would betray him in the future, but Pengzhan Industries was a good example. Lin Yi didn't want to go through the trouble of dealing with these things, so he agreed with Xuemin's suggestion. How about this? You and Kong Xiaobo will each take 15% of the company. Fatty Lai will need to be tested, but if he's sincere in following me, I'll give him 15%. As for the remaining 55%, I'll put it under Guan Xian's name. Oh. Xuemin paused. He didn't know what Lin Yi was trying to do. What was he trying to achieve by putting all the shares under his granddaughter's name? If the two of them had already confirmed their relationship, then there was nothing wrong with what they did. However, according to his observation, the relationship between his granddaughter and Lin Yi was basically the same. His granddaughter was interested, but Lin Yi didn't seem to have that kind of intention. As a result, Lin Yi's actions were a little thought-provoking. Xuemin was already confused when Lin Yi put the building under Guan Xian's name, and he couldn't hold it in anymore. You've given me 15% of the shares, and 55% to Xian. Xian also has the building under her name, so it'll only be a matter of a word for our family to take control of the medicine company. Have you thought of the consequences? Ha! Lin Yi smiled. He knew Xuemin would ask this. If Xuemin had accepted all of this without a word, Lin Yi wouldn't have said anything, but he would have looked down on Xuemin in his heart. The medical company was something that Lin Yi had casually set up, and Lin Yi didn't put much effort into it. Lin Yi had to admit that Xuemin had taken it all. It was like seeing through a person's character. To put it bluntly, the reason why Lin Yi set up this medical company was because he didn't want to live off a woman, and he wanted to earn some pocket money for himself. After Lu Tianyi sent over the 100 million, it didn't matter if Lin Yi started the company or not. Setting up the company was just to fight for Kong Xiaobo's pride, so that he wouldn't be looked down upon by Dr. Kang's family. So Lin Yi smiled, "Grandpa Guan, this is all because of your reputation. I only provided 2 prescriptions, so I have nothing to say if you want to take it." "Huh, you trust me too much." Although Xuemin didn't have any ulterior motives, he was touched by Lin Yi's trust. "I'll give my shares to Xian as well. But if Xian tries to steal your company in the future, don't come looking for me." "I won't." Lin Yi shook his head. Was Guan Xian that kind of person? Based on Lin Yi's understanding of Guan Xian, she wasn't that kind of person. After chatting with Xuemin for a while more, Lin Yi got up to leave. His bag was still at school, and Lin Yi had to go back eventually. "I'll be going then, Grandpa Guan. Call me if you need anything," Lin Yi said. "You're not waiting for Xian to come back." "I wanted you to stay for dinner," Xuemin said, a little regretful. On one hand, he was regretful that they didn't finish the academic discussion, and on the other hand, he was regretful for Xian. Could Lin Yi and his granddaughter work out? As an elder, Xuemin really wanted Lin Yi to be his grandson-in-law. Ling Shan's appearance, as well as Huaijuan's attitude, gave him a sense of danger. However, Lin Yi's attitude did comfort him a little. At least Lin Yi didn't seem to like Ling Shan that much, and the fact that he was willing to give his shares to his granddaughter meant that Lin Yi trusted Xian. This way, Xian would have a head start, maybe next time. Lin Yi said as he looked at the time on his phone. "I still have to go back to school." "That's fine too. Next time then." Xuemin didn't force him to stay. After all, things were different now. He and Lin Yi were business partners now, and Lin Yi would be visiting his house more often in the future. Lin Yi left Xuemin's house and drove to school. The bell for the last self-study period rang just as he stepped into the classroom. Meng Yao and Yushu were already used to Lin Yi's frequent absences, and they didn't bother to ask him about it. Meng Yao, on the other hand, was a little annoyed. Lin Yi was her follower, and it was work time right now. Why was the guy disappearing all the time? "Lin Yi, you're back." Lin Yi had just sat down when he heard a soft voice. His scalp went numb, and he almost fell to the ground. Xiao Xiao's eyes were curved into crescent moons as she looked at Lin Yi with a cute smile on her face. She took out a drink from her desk. "Thirsty? I bought this for you. Are you alright?" Lin Yi looked at Xiao Xiao in disbelief. Even if their relationship wasn't as serious as a death feud, it was at least as serious as killing her father. Lin Yi didn't understand, why would Xiao Xiao treat him like this? Was she hiding a dagger behind her smile? I'm fine. Xiao Xiao blinked, confused. What could happen to me? Why do you ask? Xiao Xiao's question made Lin Yi speechless. He couldn't just say that he pissed on her and blew up her but with firecrackers, that there was a huge grudge between them, and that she shouldn't be so gentle to him. Chapter 453. Chapter 453, The Weird Xiao Xiao. It's nothing. It's good that you're fine. Lin Yi nodded, troubled. Why was this girl even worse than Yushu? Why did he run into these people all the time? He'd thought that the days of bullets and bullets were scary, but there were scary things in real life as well. For you, it's really good. I drank a bottle earlier and thought it was pretty good, so I bought it for you. Xiao Xiao put the drink in front of Lin Yi. Thanks. Lin Yi said helplessly. What else could he say? If Xiao Xiao had just scolded him the moment she came, Lin Yi would have thought it was normal. He'd just ignore her and be done with it, but she was talking nicely to him, and he couldn't just pretend he didn't hear her, could he? Lin Yi even wondered if the one who blew up yesterday was Xiao Xiao's twin sister. The violent older sister was blown up, and today it was the gentle younger sister. Lin Yi was actually a little thirsty. He picked up the bottle and looked at the bottle. It was unopened. He opened it and took a sip, and there was nothing wrong with it. Lin Yi took a few sips, confused. You're welcome. Xiao Xiao shook her head. If you like it, I'll buy it for you every day. Pfft. Lin Yi was drinking when he spat it out at Xiao Xiao's words, onto Kong Xiaobo's back. Kong Xiaobo was listening to the conversation between Xiao Xiao and Lin Yi, secretly envious of Lin Yi. He turned around with a bitter face. Boss, I'm already envious of you. Why did you spit on me? I'm sorry. Lin Yi sweated as he looked at Xiao Xiao oddly. Xiao Xiao, tell me the truth. What do you mean? Nothing. Xiao Xiao looked at Lin Yi with wide eyes, as if she didn't understand what Lin Yi was talking about. Were you the one whose butt was blown up by the firecrackers yesterday? Lin Yi asked. Ah. Don't say that, it's so embarrassing. Xiao Xiao's face reddened as she whispered. Lin Yi was about to faint. Have you become stupid from the explosion? You're the dumb one, I'm the real me now. Xiao Xiao pouted. Didn't I want you to teach me how to race? I also felt that there was something wrong with my method, so I changed it. It's impossible to teach you how to race. It's illegal, Lin Yi said. It's fine, you can teach me how to race and drift too, Xiao Xiao said seriously. I don't have time. Lin Yi frowned. It's fine, I won't learn then. Xiao Xiao smiled nonchalantly. Question mark. Lin Yi looked at Xiao Xiao in disbelief. What the hell? What the hell happened? When he left at noon, Xiao Xiao's cold face still had that angry look on it. What happened now? The night class was physics, and the teacher came in soon. Lin Yi didn't ask much, so he turned his head and started flipping through his physics book, ignoring Xiao Xiao. A smile formed on Xiao Xiao's lips, and she wanted to clench her fists and cheer. As expected, Lin Yi was amenable to coaxing but not coercion. As long as she persisted, she wouldn't have to worry about not being able to capture Lin Yi's heart, and then she'd dump him. Humph, she'd let him know the consequences of messing with her. The whole class, Xiao Xiao was fantasizing about her future plans. Lin Yi, on the other hand, was very troubled, wondering why Xiao Xiao had become like this. From his past experience, Xiao Xiao had to be planning something big. The first time she gave him a drink, she didn't have any good intentions. She wanted him to go to the washroom so she could take pictures of him. This time, she probably wouldn't use the same cheap trick, so there shouldn't be anything wrong with the drink. It was just a way for Xiao Xiao to get on his good side. Pinliang was very happy right now. He'd contacted a high-class beach through one of his father's business partners, and he'd be able to reserve the entire VIP area. He'd be able to show off to Meng Yao later. He'd already talked to the homeroom teacher, Ms. Liu, and was ready to announce the good news after school. The night class finally ended, and Ms. Liu walked in with Pinliang walking up to the podium, very pleased with himself. "Everyone, calm down. Don't pack your bags yet. I have good news for you all." Ms. Liu was very supportive of Pinliang sponsoring the class spring outing. There wasn't much time left in the 12th grade, and the students didn't have much time to play together. The tree planting event was something that many of them enjoyed so much that they forgot to go home. Pinliang sponsoring a spring outing at this time made Ms. Liu's impression of Pinliang improve quite a bit. This guy wasn't a spoiled young master who didn't know shit. As soon as they heard the good news, the noisy class immediately quieted down. Everyone stopped what they were doing and raised their heads to look at Teacher Liu. "This weekend, our class will be organizing a spring excursion. The destination is the natural beach in Boundless City." Ms. Liu's voice had barely faded when the students started cheering. Going to the beach was much more interesting than planting trees, and the students who'd been suppressed for a long time were all excited. "This excursion is organized and sponsored by Pinliang. You don't have to pay a single cent, just buy some snacks for yourselves," Ms. Liu said. "Let's give Pinliang a round of applause to thank him for his contributions to our class." Ms. Liu was planning to give Pinliang a scolding in a class meeting. This guy was too daring, setting fireworks on a tree. Wasn't he afraid of catching fire? But she couldn't say anything about it now. Yay! Many students were excited when they heard that it was free. After all, there weren't many students who came from rich families, and most of them had limited pocket money. "Alright, I'm done here. I'll introduce Pinliang to you all when he's done with the spring excursion plan," Ms. Liu said. "You can go home now." The students who'd been hostile to Pinliang were now looking at him with much friendlier gazes. Many of them even greeted him after school. Pinliang was delighted. If he'd known that this would happen, he would have organized the excursion a long time ago. Not only would he be able to establish his reputation, but he'd also be able to please Meng Yao and Yushu. Why wouldn't he do it? When Meng Yao and Yushu walked out of the classroom, Pinliang quickly ran after them. "Yao Yao, Shu, are you guys satisfied with my excursion?" Pinliang was getting more and more convinced that this trip to get on Meng Yao's good side wasn't going to be that easy. "Alright, we're leaving now. We'll text you when you're ready." Yushu pulled Meng Yao and left quickly after that. Pinliang was left standing in the hallway with a bitter smile on his face. Xiaofu had been waiting for him. "Liang bro, what's wrong? What else? It's not like you didn't hear what Yushu said. Renting a plane is fine as long as you can get it, but catching a shark? Isn't that a joke?" Pinliang sighed. "Liang bro, that's not a joke." Xiaofu waved his hand. "I thought you thought renting a plane was too expensive. You know what's going on with my family. My uncle isn't a shareholder of the school anymore, but my dad's business isn't affected. He's also connected with a big boss recently, so he doesn't lack money. As long as there's a charter service, it'll be fine," Pinliang said. "But catching a shark? Isn't that just suicide?" "Not suicide." Xiaofu smiled slyly. "That's easy. When the time comes, Liang bro, we'll prepare a dead shark and put it at the bottom of the sea. I'll put on a shark fin and pretend to be a shark, and you'll pretend to come down and fight me. I'll pretend to be dead and sink to the bottom of the sea, and you can drag the dead shark to shore." "That's right." Pinliang's eyes lit up at Xiaofu's idea. He gave him a thumbs up. "That's a brilliant idea. This was great. Didn't Meng Yao like strong, handsome men? I'll fight a shark and show off my manliness. Meng Yao won't fall for me then. Yeah, that's why it's not hard at all. Now we need to figure out how to charter a plane. Xiaofu wasn't good at other things, but he was good at dirty tricks. That's easy. I'll talk to my dad about it when I get back. Pingliang's worries were solved, and he felt much more relaxed. He hummed a little tune as he walked out of the school with Xiaofu. Meng Yao, on the other hand, looked at Yushu helplessly. Shu, can you stop messing with Pingliang? It's his fault for being an idiot. Yushu didn't care. Yao Yao, we're graduating soon. If we don't mess with this idiot a little, we won't be able to play with him in college. Play, you only know how to play all day long. You'll get into trouble sooner or later. Meng Yao glared. It's fine. With Shield Bro protecting us, I'm not scared of Pingliang anymore. Yushu said happily. What's up with Lin Yi? Why is he with Xiao Xiao again? Meng Yao turned her head to see Xiao Xiao beside Lin Yi, giggling as she talked to Lin Yi. Oh, are you jealous, Yao Yao? Do you want me to go scout and see what they're talking about? Yushu rubbed her palms together. No need. Meng Yao shook her head faintly. Who cares what he's doing? Let's go home. Sure, I want to go take a look. Yushu was curious. Then I'll go back myself. You think of a way home. With that, Meng Yao opened the car door and got in. Wait for me, I'm not going. Yushu quickly got in the car after seeing that Meng Yao was angry, but her eyes couldn't help looking back. Chapter 455. Chapter 455, The Beginning of a Nightmare. Why are you following me? Lin Yi frowned as he looked at Xiao Xiao. Don't they all say that you're marked by the company you keep? Xiao Xiao said with a smile. It's fine if you don't teach me how to drive, just let me stay by your side. You'll be able to subtly influence me, and I'll be more and more like you, and then I'll know how to drive. Lin Yi was speechless at Xiao Xiao's reasoning. Do whatever you want then, I'm going home. With that, Lin Yi turned to the food street behind the school, where he parked his car. Xiao Xiao, on the other hand, was still following Lin Yi leisurely. Lin Yi frowned, worried that Mrs. Tang and Tang Yun would misunderstand. Can you follow me tomorrow? Can't I go home with you? Xiao Xiao had made up her mind to follow Lin Yi, and so no matter what Lin Yi said, she kept her voice soft. You don't want your car anymore? Lin Yi was a little speechless. Xiao Xiao's attitude made it impossible for him to get angry. If she were like before, Lin Yi could just send her flying with a kick. But now, he couldn't just kick this cute girl. I'll go home with you first, and then take the bus back to get it. Xiao Xiao said. Xiao Xiao, can you be a little more normal? Lin Yi couldn't take it anymore. If you keep acting like this, I won't come tomorrow. Then I won't go home with you. Don't not come, I still want to be by your side every day. Xiao Xiao quickly shook her head. Then I won't go home with you, alright? I'll be going first. Lin Yi finally got rid of Xiao Xiao, and he slapped his forehead in relief. Just what was wrong with this Xiao Xiao? Lin Yi didn't believe it at all. There had to be something else that people didn't know about. What Lin Yi didn't expect was that his nightmare had just begun. Who was that girl just now? Although Lin Yi was in a rush to get rid of Xiao Xiao, Tang Yun, who was helping her mother with the barbecue stall, still saw it. In actuality, Tang Yun saw Lin Yi the moment he arrived at the food street. She was hesitant to call out to him when she saw that there was a girl beside him. She pretended not to see him, but she was very nervous. Tang Yun couldn't help but ask after Xiao Xiao left. My desk mate, a new transfer student, Lin Yi said. Then why is she following you? Tang Yun felt that she was being a little narrow-minded by asking so many questions, but it was fine. Lin Yi was getting more and more outstanding, and Tang Yun was getting more and more afraid that Lin Yi would fall in love with someone else. I'm not familiar with the road. I don't know where I parked the car. I can't find it, Lin Yi said casually. I see. She drives to school too. Then her family must be pretty rich, right? Tang Yun was startled. If Xiao Xiao really wanted to compete with her, even she wouldn't be able to win. Who knows, but she saw me driving once and thought that I was good, so she wanted to learn from me. I don't have time to talk to her, Lin Yi said. Oh, I see. Tang Yun started to get nervous again after hearing Lin Yi's words. So Xiao Xiao was here for Lin Yi? This gave Tang Yun a faint sense of danger. Let's not talk about her. How's Auntie's business? Lin Yi didn't want to talk about Xiao Xiao in front of Tang Yun. It's not bad. My income is 3 to 4 times what I used to be. That's around 10,000 a month. Tang Yun was very happy. This was the first time the family was making so much money. And, then let's save some money and rent a storefront. We can open a barbecue shop. That way, we won't have to work so hard anymore. Lin Yi nodded. He could take out more money for Tang Yun's family to open a barbecue shop, but with Tang Yun's personality, she wouldn't accept it. That's what I was thinking, too. I don't want Mom to be exposed to the sun and the wind, but Mom said. It's too risky. She doesn't want to lose the money. Tang Yun blushed, she said. She said that she wants to save the money for my dowry. Lin Yi blinked and smiled weirdly. Then I'll talk to Auntie about it. I don't need that little dowry, so she doesn't need to save it. You. Tang Yun blinked as well, but reacted quickly. Her face reddened even more as she punched at Lin Yi. What are you talking about? I didn't say I wanted to marry you. Ha. Lin Yi held Tang Yun's hand. Auntie already agreed. After helping Tang Yun and Mrs. Tang for a while, the number of students gradually decreased. Lin Yi helped Mrs. Tang send the barbecue cart to the nearby warehouse, and then drove Mrs. Tang and Tang Yun to the slums. I heard that the slums are going to be relocated. Do you think we should ask for compensation or move back? Mrs. Tang couldn't make up her mind these days. Compensation was said to be a few $100,000, but they could also move back to a building similar to their current size. It was a good deal. It's okay if you want to move back. I don't know much about this. I'll ask someone for you another day. Lin Yi thought of Fatty Lai. Wasn't this guy in real estate? He would understand if he asked. However, with Fatty Lai's style, if he knew that Tang Yun was his girlfriend, he would probably give them a villa the next day. However, from Lin Yi's point of view, Tang Yun wouldn't accept it. That's fine, but it's just a rumor. It's hard to say if they'll even move. Mrs. Tang sighed. The last few times we wanted to move, it was because we didn't reach an agreement on the compensation. It's fine. If you need anything, just let me know. I have a friend in real estate, I'm sure he'll be able to help. Lin Yi said. After sending Tang Yun and Mrs. Tang to the slums, Lin Yi didn't get out of the car and drove straight back to Meng Yao's villa. Meng Yao didn't say anything about Lin Yi leaving early and returning late. She looked at him coldly and continued watching TV with Yushu. The next afternoon, Lin Yi, who had been tormented by Xiao Xiao the whole morning, was finally free. He planned to eat with Tang Yun in the cafeteria, but Xiao Xiao followed him out of the classroom. Why are you following me? I'm going to eat with Tang Yun. Lin Yi didn't expect this little tail to follow him. I'm going to eat too. Xiao Xiao blinked. It's a good opportunity to get to know your girlfriend. We'll be seeing each other often in the future. What do you mean? You want to be by my side every time I go on a date? Lin Yi's face turned green. Chapter 456. She couldn't take it anymore. Tang Yun's expression froze when she saw Lin Yi with Xiao Xiao. Lin Yi had explained it yesterday, but she was still worried. Why would she be worried about a guy? Tang Yun rubbed her temples. It was unbelievable, but it was the truth. If it were half a year ago, she would have scoffed at girls like this, worrying about a boyfriend cheating on her. Didn't that mean she wasn't attractive enough? Tang Yun felt that she wouldn't be like those girls, worrying all the time. But now, the answer came so quickly. Tang Yun regretted making fun of people before. She shouldn't have. Mocking people for being inferior was the ancients wouldn't lie to themselves. Lin Yi, you've been waiting for a long time. Tang Yun tried her best to look normal as she turned to Xiao Xiao. This is your new deskmate, right? Hello, I'm Xiao Xiao. Xiao Xiao put her hand out. I'm Lin Yi's admirer. Ah. Tang Yun paused, shaking Xiao Xiao's hand weirdly. Admirer? Yeah, he's really cool when driving. I want to learn from him, but he hasn't taught me yet. Xiao Xiao nodded generously. Is that so? Tang Yun frowned. What did she mean by admirer? Let's go, ignore her. Lin Yi didn't know what to say to Xiao Xiao. This girl was definitely up to no good, and Lin Yi didn't have the heart to kick her, but he didn't want to talk to her either. Oh. Tang Yun felt much better after hearing Lin Yi's words, and her attitude towards Xiao Xiao wasn't as hostile anymore. We're going to eat, see you next time. No need, I'm going to the cafeteria too. Let's go together. Xiao Xiao said passionately, not caring that she'd become a third wheel. Tang Yun wanted to say something, but didn't. She stood to the right of Lin Yi, and Xiao Xiao stood to the left of Lin Yi. The two of them sandwiched Lin Yi, one on the left and one on the right. Tang Yun, have you ever seen your husband drive? He's really handsome. Xiao Xiao turned to Tang Yun. Hubby? Tang Yun paused, but got a little angry. She wasn't angry because Xiao Xiao said Lin Yi was her husband, but because Xiao Xiao was being so vague. She didn't add "you" in front of the word husband and directly said this word. Those who didn't know would think that Lin Yi was her husband, or that they had the same husband. But Tang Yun didn't want to correct her. What if it was a slip of the tongue? If he were to say it out loud, wouldn't it be very embarrassing? So he said, yes, but if you want to learn how to drive, it's best if you go to a driving school. I have a driver's license, I just want to learn drifting. Xiao Xiao said. When they got to the cafeteria, Lin Yi found a table for two in order to get rid of Xiao Xiao. This way, Xiao Xiao wouldn't be able to sit with him, and Xiao Xiao indeed hadn't sat here before. She went to the food counter and lined up. Lin Yi, what's going on with that Xiao Xiao? She looks like she's really clingy. Tang Yun asked casually. What, jealous? Lin Yi could guess what she was thinking just by looking at her face. Jealous. Jealous? I'm not. Tang Yun, naturally, wouldn't admit it. I just think she's an idiot. Ha. Lin Yi smiled. What do you want to eat? I'll go buy it. Whatever, one meat and one vegetable. Just do as you see fit. Tang Yun wasn't a picky eater. She had a simple lunch with Lin Yi, 2 dishes for the two of them. It wasn't a waste. Lin Yi wasn't a picky eater either, so he usually went to whichever counter had the least customers. The dishes he bought were random as well. There weren't many people at the stir-fried garlic and steamed pork ribs, so Lin Yi bought one and brought it back. The two were just about to eat when they saw Xiao Xiao dragging a chair over with a big plate in her hand. She came to Lin Yi's table and placed it on it, adding a chair to the side of the table. The cafeteria was very crowded during peak hours, and so there were some folding chairs at the side of the cafeteria for extra seats when there were too many people. He didn't expect Xiao Xiao to drag a chair over herself. Lin Yi, I bought you braised chicken drumsticks, they're really good. Here you go. Xiao Xiao said as she put the chicken drumsticks in front of him. What? Lin Yi didn't think that Xiao Xiao would buy him a drumstick. Wasn't she trying to make him feel uncomfortable? Tang Yun was already feeling a little jealous. What was this girl playing at? Eat it, it's really good. Xiao Xiao said with a smile as she looked at Lin Yi. I heard from Pin Liang that the drumsticks and lamb chops in the cafeteria are really good, but the lamb chops have to be made on the spot. I ordered one, but it'll take a while. You can eat the drumsticks first. Lin Yi couldn't take it anymore. Lin Yi didn't do anything to Xiao Xiao because she was a girl, but now that she kept doing weird things, Lin Yi couldn't take it anymore. Xiao Xiao, are you done or not? Lin Yi glared at Xiao Xiao. You're so mean to me. Xiao Xiao jumped at Lin Yi. Her eyes reddened as tears fell down. Wu! Why are you so mean to me? I just worshipped you, and I want to get on your good side. I want you to teach me how to drive, what's wrong with that? Wu! Lin Yi looked at the pitiful Xiao Xiao in shock. He couldn't believe his eyes. Was this the same Xiao Xiao who was grinding her teeth, trying to take pictures of him and blow him up with firecrackers? She didn't even cry when he blew her up, and now she was crying just because he yelled at her. Tang Yun had been annoyed at Xiao Xiao for being so stupid. She finally had some alone time with Lin Yi, and Xiao Xiao came over to be the third wheel. But now that she saw Xiao Xiao looking so wronged, Tang Yun's heart softened. Did she really only worship Lin Yi? Or did she have other thoughts? But worship was hard to explain, and it could easily turn into affection. That was why Tang Yun was so hostile towards Xiao Xiao. But now, she felt pity for her. Lin Yi, can you talk to her and make her stop crying? Why don't you teach her? Don't get tricked by her. This girl likes to act. Lin Yi curled his lips and steeled his heart, ignoring Xiao Xiao. Chapter 457. Wasting her strength, Xiao Xiao wiped her tears away and stopped crying, but she didn't leave. She propped her chin on her hand and stared at Lin Yi, her eyes filled with infatuation and tenderness. Xiao Xiao's gaze made Lin Yi a little uneasy, and Tang Yun felt even more uncomfortable. What was going on? Lin Yi was her boyfriend, and now there was an admirer sitting next to him, staring at Lin Yi. How could she stop eating? Xiao Xiao, you're not eating. Tang Yun couldn't help but ask. She couldn't kick her out, but she couldn't just let her stare at Lin Yi like this, could she? Nope, I'm happier watching Lin Yi eat than eating myself. Xiao Xiao murmured. You. Tang Yun didn't know what to say at all. It wasn't easy for them to get through this awkward moment in the cafeteria, and Lin Yi pulled Tang Yun out. Can you not let her come next time? Tang Yun couldn't help but say to Lin Yi. I feel weird with her beside me, I can't even eat. You think I want her to come? Lin Yi smiled bitterly. Tang Yin pouted unhappily, but there was nothing she could do about it. She wanted to say something, but she didn't want Lin Yi to think that she was being petty. Tang Yin was starting to get annoyed with herself. Why was she getting more and more worried? Where was her courage? She could mock Lin Yi and even step on his feet, but now, she had to think before she did anything. Was she really afraid that Xiao Xiao would steal Lin Yi from her? What was she thinking? Tang Yun was a little embarrassed as she scolded herself. She didn't want to think about all this nonsense anymore. There were only a few more months until the college entrance exams, but because of her family and Lin Yi, she had just finished revising her second year's curriculum. She still had the third year's curriculum to study, otherwise she wouldn't make it in time. She hurried back to the classroom and started reading the 12th grade textbooks, throwing all the random thoughts to the back of her mind. Xiao Xiao bought a drink for Lin Yi when she got back to class. Lin Yi, this is a new fruit tea. It looks really good, so I bought 2 bottles. Do you want to try it? Xiao Xiao, what are you thinking? Lin Yi took the drink from Xiao Xiao's hand but didn't drink it, putting it aside. Nothing much, I just want to be by your side. Xiao Xiao said seriously. I won't tease you anymore, don't worry. Okay. Lin Yi nodded. Lin Yi heard Xiao Xiao's nonsensical words and knew that it was pointless to talk anymore. He decided to just ignore her. Lin Yi thought that Xiao Xiao was just a newbie for 2.5 days. If he ignored her and stopped her from carrying out her plan, she'd get bored and leave. He didn't think that Xiao Xiao would maintain this attitude for a few days, following wherever Lin Yi went. She waited at the door when Lin Yi went to the washroom, and when Lin Yi went to find Tang Yun, she followed him. Tang Yun almost gritted her teeth as she started to suspect Xiao Xiao's motives. Pin Liang really did manage to get a private seaplane from the beach club. It was expensive, costing tens of thousands of yuan per flight, but it wasn't much to Pin Liang. It was much cheaper than buying a plane, wasn't it? He didn't mind spending a bit more money to please Meng Yao either. The plane wasn't big, but it was more than enough to fit all 40 people in the class. Pin Liang didn't bother looking for a bus. It was the same for one person, and it was the same for 40 people. The charter fee was fixed. When Pin Liang announced that he was going to use the private plane to take everyone to the beach, the class went wild again. But, be careful when you bring your personal belongings. Don't bring anything flammable or explosive. Ms. Liu started reading out the security rules. The security on a private plane wasn't as strict as normal security, but some dangerous items weren't allowed. In order to avoid trouble, Ms. Liu had to warn everyone beforehand. Most of the students didn't bring anything dangerous, so after hearing what Ms. Liu said, they didn't think it had anything to do with them. But Pin Liang had to change his plans. He was going to bring a barbecue grill and some charcoal to the beach for an outdoor barbecue, but since they weren't allowed to bring a fire source on the plane, Pin Liang couldn't bring those things. Xiaofu, looks like the barbecue plan has to be put on hold. Meng Yao wants to barbecue shark meat, how are we going to get it for them? Pin Liang asked. Liang bro, I heard there's a new type of barbecue grill. Maybe we should get one. Xiaofu suggested. It doesn't seem that expensive, only a few hundred. Really? That's not bad. Go get one, I'll leave this to you. Pin Liang calmed down at Xiaofu's words. Saturday morning, Pin Liang and Xiaofu arrived at school with bags of stuff. They'd planned to meet at the school gates, and the whole class would get on the bus to the airport. Pin Liang wanted to drive, but Meng Yao and Yushu were taking the bus, and he didn't want to be special. He told his father's driver to go back first, and waited for the bus with his classmates. Xiao Xiao was wearing sunglasses, a hat and a small backpack. She looked like a traveling girl, pretty and cute. She attracted a lot of attention. Most of the boys' attention had been on Meng Yao and Yushu before, but now that Xiao Xiao had joined them, a part of the attention was taken away. Xiao Xiao was standing beside Lin Yi, making everyone jealous and envious, but Lin Yi didn't seem to care at all. All the boys had the urge to step up and take his place. Lin Yi, I brought a lot of good food. Xiao Xiao turned her head, her face flushed with excitement and happiness. Oh. Lin Yi replied flatly. I don't know how to swim, can you teach me? Xiao Xiao didn't lie to Lin Yi this time. She really didn't know how to swim. Oh, is that so? Lin Yi said faintly. I don't know how to swim either. This young master is. Huh, Cihua bro, this is my son, Zhou Ruoming. I brought him here to see the world. Tiandi was a little disappointed in his eldest son, Zhou Ruoguang. That guy was a pushover, not even as good as his younger son, Zhou Ruoming. As a result, Zhou Ruoming's successor was most likely going to be his younger son. Tiandi changed his strategy, and decided not to let Zhou Ruoming study blindly. Instead, he was preparing to train him as his successor. Oh. So it's young Master Zhou. Huh, you're quite the talent. Sihua nodded with a smile. Thank you for the compliment, Uncle Sihua. Zhou Ruoming was, without a doubt, very excited. His father was finally willing to train him, and this was his first time out, and he was bringing him to meet such an important person. As for Sihua, Zhou Ruoming had heard of him a long time ago. He was the big boss of Songshan's underworld. Sihua bro, I wonder if you have any business with me. Tiandi and Sihua had always minded their own business, so their relationship wasn't too bad. Tiandi bro, let's not beat around the bush. I'm here today because I have a business with you. Sihua didn't beat around the bush. They were both in the underworld, after all, and there was no need to beat around the bush. Oh. What kind of business? Tiandi had been depressed for the past couple of days. Lin Yi had said that he wouldn't bother them anymore, but he was still worried. Now that there was business, he felt a little better. I'm sure you know who I am. Sihua said with a smile. One of the juniors of the big boss behind me wants to start a real estate company here, but he's lacking some manpower. Would you be interested, Tiandi bro? Manpower? You mean? Tiandi paused. Wouldn't his family's business skyrocket if he could form a relationship with the big boss behind Sihua? But the point was, what did the guy see in him? Tiandi knew his own limitations. He was an expert in the entertainment business, but he'd never been in the real estate business before. Demolition. Sihua smiled. You know that we'll need some tricks if we want to get a demolition done at a low price. I don't have the manpower to do that, so I wanted to work with you, Tiandi bro. Demolition? That's not a problem. Tiandi let out a breath of relief. Demolition wasn't easy at all. Wouldn't it be enough to let Zhou Ruoguang lead a group of people to threaten those relocated households? So you're saying that you'll agree to this, Tiandi bro? Sihua was quite confident in this. After all, it wasn't a difficult job for Tiandi, and it should be something he was good at. It shouldn't be a problem. Tiandi nodded. Which piece of land does the young master want to develop? The slums. Sihua said. It's a big area, it'll be very promising. Oh, the slums? That's a good place, no problem. Tiandi was about to agree when Zhou Ruoming pulled him back. Dad, we can't do this. Zhou Ruoming was afraid that his father would agree on impulse. Ruoming, what are you doing? Tiandi paused, a little displeased. What's wrong with you, kid? Aren't you usually quite brave? Why are you afraid to do illegal things now? Dad! Listen to me, I don't dare do things that aren't illegal. It's Tang Yun, she lives in the slums. Zhou Ruoming explained, panicking. He'd been pursuing Tang Yun, and naturally, he'd done a lot of research on her family background. It was normal that he knew she lived in the slums. Chapter 459. Chapter 459, occupied. What if he was stupid enough to bulldoze Tang Yin's house? He'd probably end up in the morgue the next day, wouldn't he? Even someone as strong as Yan Qiuan was taken care of by Lin Yi. What else could he do against Lin Yi? Tiandi wasn't afraid of offending Sihua at this point. The worst that could happen was that their relationship would worsen. It wasn't a big deal. Tiandi stood up abruptly. Sihua bro, I can't do this. You should find someone else, I'm sorry. With that, Tiandi pulled Zhou Ruoming away without another word. What he was afraid of was what would happen if Lin Yi found out that he was planning to demolish Tang Yin's house with Sihua. What if Lin Yi came looking for trouble? Tiandi cursed his unluck. He shouldn't have come if he'd known about this. Sihua frowned as he watched Tiandi and Tiandi's disappearing silhouettes. What the hell was that? Is there something wrong with him? I'm asking you guys out of respect, it's fine if you don't want the money. Sihua bro, I heard them mention a name, maybe it's someone they know. Jianeng said. Let's not bother with them, called Zhong Fabai over. Time waits for no man, Master Bing will be here soon. We need to get the real estate company up and running before he gets here. Sihua said. Right, how's Jin Gubang? He's registered a real estate company himself, and he's planning to give all the shares to Master Bing. Jianeng said. He's pretty smart. Let's leave him 10% of the shares and let him stay as the CEO of the company. Sihua said after some thought. Master Bing's just playing around, he needs someone to help him manage the company. He's Zhong Fabai's relative, it'll be easy to use him. Alright, I'll talk to Jin Gubang later. Jianeng nodded and went to call Zhong Fabai. Fabai, on the other hand, didn't have as many concerns as Tiandi. He was looking for a new backer now that Gubang was gone, and Fabai agreed without a second thought when he heard that Sihua wanted to recruit him and Gubang to run this real estate company, and that it was for the nephew of the boss behind the scenes. Due to the specifications of the private seaplane, it didn't have a luggage compartment, so it couldn't be checked in. Some dangerous goods weren't allowed to be brought onto the plane. After going through the security check, the class boarded the plane under the guidance of Teacher Lu. It was the first time for many students to take a plane, and their eyes were full of novelty and excitement. Even if they had taken a plane before, they had never taken an amphibious plane, so no matter who it was, they were very excited. In this kind of small plane, the front was better, but the seats near the back would be very bumpy. Fortunately, after the class sat on the plane, only the first few rows were filled, and there were only some luggage in the back. Pinliang and Xiaofu were getting ready to sit in the luxurious seats at the front. The first row was very spacious, and there were 4 seats in total. 2 were for Meng Yao and Yushu, and the other 2 were for Pinliang himself. Pinliang and Xiaofu were just about to sit down after putting down their luggage when someone behind them pushed them, almost causing them to fall. Move aside, don't block the way. It was Lin Yi, who was already sitting in the seat that used to be Pinliang's. Xiao Xiao, on the other hand, followed Lin Yi and sat in Xiaofu's seat. Pinliang's face turned green. He wanted to shoo Lin Yi away, but he didn't dare. He wanted to shoo Xiao Xiao away, but he didn't dare either. Just when he was at a loss as to what to do, Yushu spoke up. Liangyi, Yao Yao said that she likes brave guys. Only those who can sit at the back of the plane without a change in expression or heart palpitations are the bravest. Yushu, naturally, didn't want Pinliang to sit in the front. She wanted to see what would happen between Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao, so she found an excuse to shoo Pinliang away. Is that so? Pinliang found a way out of Yushu's words. Xiaofu, let's sit at the back then. The first row is for cowardly men. There was only one man in the first row, Lin Yi, so Pinliang's words were directed at Lin Yi. But he regretted it immediately. Wasn't he just being a prick? Why did he have to say that? Pinliang let out a sigh of relief when he saw that Lin Yi didn't seem to be looking for trouble. He quickly walked to the back of the cabin with Xiaofu and sat down at the very back. Since it was a low-altitude private plane, there wouldn't be too much of a conflict with commercial airliners. It didn't take long for the plane to take off. Pinliang and Xiaofu had never been on a private plane like this before. They thought that the back of the plane would be the same as a commercial airliner, but Pinliang only realized how uncomfortable it was when they took off. The seat was as bumpy as it could get, and Pinliang's face turned scarily pale. Xiaofu wasn't much better off either. Liang bro, maybe we should sit closer to the front. This is too uncomfortable. Xiaofu couldn't take it anymore. You can go if you want to. What would Meng Yao think of me if I went? She'd think I'm a coward, wouldn't she? Pinliang was uncomfortable as well, but he gritted his teeth and persevered. He'd already said that he'd be a laughingstock if he backed out now. Pinliang was a laughingstock now, but he didn't want more of them. If he could still grit his teeth and persevere, then so be it. He only wanted to get to the beach as soon as possible. Pinliang wasn't leaving, and Xiaofu couldn't either. He could only endure it. It was his first time on a plane, and he didn't have much experience. Naturally, he was worse than Pinliang. Lin Yi didn't bother with Xiao Xiao, either. No matter what she said, Lin Yi only replied with, "Oh, and, is that so?" These meaningless words made Xiao Xiao very depressed. "Shu, what do you think Xiao Xiao's up to?" Meng Yao had noticed that something was wrong with Xiao Xiao these past few days. "I don't know, but I think she's in love with Shield Bro." "Why else would she be so nice to Shield Bro?" Yushu mumbled as she chewed on her snacks. "She's into Lin Yi. How's that possible? Isn't she trying to cause trouble for Lin Yi?" Meng Yao frowned as she humphed coldly. Lin Yi wasn't some kind of hot steamed bun, why would anyone be into him? "Are you jealous, Yao Yao?" Yushu giggled. "Me? What does it have to do with me?" Meng Yao humphed, not caring about what Lin Yi said. Chapter 460. She threw up, ate again, ah. Meng Yao hesitated, a slight frown on her face. "Why don't you go listen then?" "Oh, okay," Yushu said with a smile. But Yushu pricked up her ears for a long time, unable to hear what Xiao Xiao and Lin Yi were talking about. Why weren't they talking, either? Lin Yi closed his eyes and pretended to doze off. Xiao Xiao said a few words to Lin Yi, and since he wasn't paying attention, she could only listen to her MP3 player. "Shield Bro." Yushu wasn't worried that Xiao Xiao would hear what she called Lin Yi, since she knew about her relationship with Lin Yi. She wouldn't have waited until now if she'd wanted to. Lin Yi opened his eyes and looked at Yushu, confused. "It's nothing." Yushu thought that Lin Yi was asleep, so she wanted to wake him up and listen to his conversation with Xiao Xiao. Now that Lin Yi was awake, she was fine. Lin Yi looked at Yushu, confused, and shook his head. "Lin Yi, are you hungry? I have some biscuits here." Xiao Xiao asked, seeing that Lin Yi wasn't pretending to be asleep anymore. "Oh, eat it yourself." Lin Yi replied faintly as he looked out the window. Xiao Xiao pouted. What was that supposed to mean? He'd answer whenever Yushu called him, and ignore her when she talked to him. "Hey, how much do they pay you?" "What do you mean how much?" Lin Yi blinked. "Aren't you their follower and bodyguard? How much do they pay you every month?" Xiao Xiao asked. "Tens of thousands, I guess." Lin Yi said vaguely. "Tens of thousands." Xiao Xiao was startled. Why was it so much money? Her family was rich, but her allowance was only 10,000 a month. She'd wanted to say that she'd hire Lin Yi twice the amount of money Meng Yao was paying him, but she couldn't bring herself to say it now. "Bullshit," she said hatefully. "Ha." Lin Yi could guess what Xiao Xiao was thinking. "I work for her father, follower is just a guest." "Oh." Xiao Xiao nodded. It wasn't impossible for Pengzhan to spend that much money if it was him. "Xiao Xiao, if you want to learn how to drive, I don't have much time right now, so you don't have to follow me all the time." "There's no point in following me," Lin Yi said, wanting to make things clear. "No. It's fine if you don't want to teach me. I just want you to influence me," Xiao Xiao said. "That way, I'll be more and more like you." Lin Yi was taken aback. What kind of bullshit theory was that? Imperceptible influence? He was speechless. "Do what you want then." Knowing that Xiao Xiao wouldn't get through to him, Lin Yi didn't bother with the bullshit, follow her if she wanted to. She'd probably get annoyed after a few days anyway. Alright. Xiao Xiao was very happy that Lin Yi agreed. Her eyes turned into crescents. Here's a biscuit. Lin Yi took the biscuit, and put it on the table in front of him. I heard it. Yushu lowered her voice to Mengyao. Then what did they say? Mengyao asked. Xiao Xiao told Shield Bro to teach her how to drive, so she follows him every day. Yushu said. I see. Let her do what she wants then. Mengyao naturally lost interest after hearing that Xiao Xiao was just going to Lin Yi to learn how to drive. Xiaofu's face was getting paler and paler. He couldn't take it anymore. Liang bro, I can't take it anymore, I want to throw up. Hold it in a little longer. We're almost there. Pin Liang wanted to throw up as well, but he was in a better state than Xiaofu. He often traveled on planes, and he'd even been on those smaller planes before. They were better than this, but not by much. I can't take it anymore, I really can't take it anymore. Xiaofu yelled suddenly. Waiter, open the window. I'm going to throw up. Xiaofu's yelling attracted the attention of the students in front of him, and Pin Liang felt his face heat up. How embarrassing. He wanted to kick Xiaofu off the plane. This is a plane, not a car. The window's sealed, I can't open it. Then what do we do? I'm going to throw up. Xiaofu panicked. Hold it in. Just hold it in for a little while. Pin Liang raged. Blurg, blurg. Xiaofu quickly covered his mouth with his hand, holding it in for a while before letting out a sigh of relief. Fu, you can hold it in. Pin Liang breathed in relief after seeing that Xiaofu wasn't throwing up anymore. I did, but I swallowed it back down. Xiaofu said. Ah. Blurg. Pin Liang's stomach churned. He swallowed it back down again. Why was it so disgusting? Pin Liang had been able to hold it in at first, but he couldn't hold it in anymore after what Xiaofu was doing. He opened his mouth and wanted to puke, but when he looked up, he saw that everyone in the class was looking at Xiaofu, as well as Yushu. He was in a difficult position, but the thing in his stomach was already in his throat. He had no choice but to spit it out, just like Xiaofu did. Pin Liang made up his mind and spat it out, then swallowed it back. Burp. Pin Liang burped and waved at Yushu with a smile on his face. Look at me, I'm fine. That Xiaofu guy just can't do it. Pin Liang sighed in relief after seeing that no one could tell. Pin Liang finally let out a sigh of relief. He was the smartest one of them all. Even though he swallowed back what he was about to spit out, no one could tell. Liang bro, my stomach's not feeling well, I want to have a bowel movement. Xiaofu said after a while. Why are you so troublesome? Why do you feel like throwing up and having a bowel movement? Pin Liang was starting to panic. You can't blame me, Liang bro. I didn't manage to spit it out, so I swallowed it back down. Of course I have to poop. Xiaofu said weakly. There's a washroom up front. Go yourself. Pin Liang said helplessly. Xiaofu sprinted into the washroom. Pin Liang was starting to regret letting Xiaofu sit at the back of the plane as well, it was ruining his image. But why was his stomach so uncomfortable? Pin Liang froze abruptly. He'd swallowed the thing back down. Was he going to have a bowel movement as well? Pin Liang jumped at the thought and ran to the washroom. He only remembered that Xiaofu was still inside when he reached the door. He knocked on the door. Xiaofu, hurry up. Liang bro, what's wrong? Xiaofu said weakly. I need to use the washroom too, hurry up. Pin Liang said urgently. Ah. I'm pooping right now. Xiaofu said. Chapter 461. Here comes the shark. Xiaofu was panicking, but he couldn't just pull up his pants in the middle of his diarrhea, could he? Liang bro, wait a minute, I'll be done soon. Pin Liang was panicking. The toilet was right in front of the first row. Wasn't Xiaofu trying to ruin his image on purpose? It was one thing for him to go straight into the toilet, but Meng Yao would definitely laugh at him if he had to hold his stomach and walk around like that, wouldn't she? Pfft. Pin Liang let out a loud fart, feeling a little embarrassed. His face reddened as he snuck a glance at Meng Yao. It stinks, Yao Yao, I'm going to faint. Yushu jumped up, waving her hands around. Liangyi, hurry up and stuff a fart stopper. Are you trying to suffocate me and Yao Yao? Pin Liang's fart was only heard by the students in the first few rows, but Yushu's words made him the center of attention in the cabin. Pin Liang was panicking. He was just about to explain when his butt popped out uncontrollably again. This time, he'd pooped out of his pants due to his excitement. Pin Liang, are you doing this on purpose? Yushu was going crazy as she pinched her nose and ran to the back. It was too smelly. Meng Yao frowned in disgust as well. She didn't know what Pin Liang was doing, not stopping even after getting on the plane. She stood up and followed Yushu. Xiao Xiao was in the middle of eating a biscuit when she spat it out. She subconsciously ran to the back as well. Lin Yi didn't mind. Lin Yi had lived in smellier places than this before, but Pin Liang's actions were indeed disgusting. Since the miss was gone, Lin Yi stood up and followed. Xiaofu finally came out of the toilet, and Pin Liang ran in with his hands on his crotch. The sound of running water came from the toilet. Pin Liang didn't bring a change of pants, so he had to wash them in the toilet. But before the plane landed, Pin Liang didn't have the nerve to come out of the toilet. Pin Liang was the one who organized the event, so even though everyone thought it was funny to see him in a wet pair of pants, they didn't laugh at him. Pin Liang was comforted by that. I'm sorry, Liang bro, I didn't do it on purpose. Xiaofu apologized, a little embarrassed that he'd messed things up. Forget it. Pin Liang looked at his only subordinate and didn't know what to say. He waved his hand and said generously, just do your best to pretend to be a shark later. Don't worry, I've practiced several times in the bathtub at home. There won't be a problem. Gao Xiaofu patted his chest confidently. Pin Liang nodded. Whether or not he could save his face would depend on this. If the glorious image of him fighting the shark was seen by everyone, the incident of him pooping his pants would be nothing. The plane landed on the dedicated water parking lane in the VIP area of the beach. After the plane stopped, a speedboat came over and sent the students on the plane to the beach. Pin Liang had booked the entire VIP area, so there weren't any other visitors here. The water was very clear, and between the beach and the water was a shallow area of pebbles and sand. There were some sea snails, crabs, and fishes in the water. It seemed like the water here was quite nice. Lin Yi wasn't in a hurry to change into his swimsuit like the other students. He sat on the beach, quietly watching the little creatures in the water. It was rare to see water this clear in the city and tourist areas. Lin Yi felt like he was back home. When he was young, Lin Yi and Er Gooden would often play at the beach. Of course, Old Man forced Lin Yi to train in the water most of the time, and Er Gooden. Lin Yi really doubted his body structure. It was hard for him to keep his balance in the waves, but that guy was like an iron tower. Why don't you go change into your swimsuit? Xiao Xiao saw that Lin Yi was sitting on the beach, spacing out. She followed him, curious. Why would I change into a swimsuit if I don't know how to swim? Lin Yi said faintly. Why don't you go? I want to be by your side. Xiao Xiao said matter-of-factly. Lin Yi shook his head. His thoughts were interrupted, and he turned his attention to the girl who had changed into her swimsuit. An 18-year-old girl with a petite body had already matured. This was a good opportunity for his eyes to feast on. He wondered what the Miss and Yushu would look like in their swimsuits. Compared to Meng Yao, Lin Yi was more excited to see Yushu in her swimsuit. He'd seen pictures of them in swimsuits, but it wasn't as good as seeing them in person. But what disappointed Lin Yi was that Meng Yao and Yushu didn't change into their swimsuits. Instead, they set up a sun umbrella on the beach and sat under it, taking out the snacks from their bags. Were these two girls here for a picnic? It made sense. Meng Yao and Yushu went to the beach quite a lot, and his computer's hard drive was filled with pictures of the two, many of which were taken at the beach. There don't seem to be any sharks here, Yushu said, disappointed as she looked at the calm water. This is a tourist area. Of course there won't be sharks. Meng Yao said. That Liangyi, how dare he lie to me? He even roasted shark meat for me. I don't believe him anymore. Yushu said angrily. Even if there was shark meat, would you dare eat it? Meng Yao said, curling her lips. Ugh. Yushu felt disgusted at the memory of Pinliang pulling up his pants on the plane. She wouldn't dare eat shark meat if Pinliang really did roast it for her, would she? Xiaofu saw that most of the students had gone into the water, and so he tied the shark fins on his back and dove into the water quietly. He circled around the water a couple of times, panicking when he realized that no one was paying attention to him. He didn't dare get too close to the other students, as the water in the shallow water was very clear. He'd be discovered if he got too close. But he couldn't just shout, "I'm a shark. A shark is coming," could he? Pinliang was panicking as well. He wanted to be the hero of the shark fight, so he couldn't be the one to discover the shark first. It'd be best if someone else discovered it first, scaring the other students to the shore so that Pinliang could show off his skills and kill the shark. Chapter 462. Little Shu fights the shark. Yushu's shout caught the attention of the students in the water, and they all looked up to see a shark fin floating in the water. Meng Yao jumped in fright as she looked in the direction Yushu was pointing. There was indeed a shark fin floating around in the water. Isn't this the swimming area? Why's there a shark here? I opened up a hole in the barrier earlier, and the shark swam in. Pinliang ran over to Yushu and Meng Yao, trying to take credit for what he'd done. It wasn't bullshit, he'd swum to the safe zone to prevent Yushu from seeing through his act, and opened up a big hole in the barrier. Of course, Pinliang wasn't afraid of a real shark either, since the chances of that happening were too low. Unless the smell of blood attracted the shark, why else would a shark come here? Oh. That's great, we finally have shark meat to eat. Good job, Liangyi. Yushu patted Pinliang on the shoulder happily, but turned to him worriedly. I say, Liangyi, you washed yourself clean, right? You don't smell bad, do you? No, I've been in the water for so long, I only smell salty. Pinliang explained, embarrassed. That's more like it. Yushu said, but she still moved a little further away. The students in the water were all scared out of their wits at the sight of the shark, and they ran to the shore in a panic. It didn't take long before there was no one else in the water except for the shark. Xiaofu swam closer, too, and Pinliang was rubbing his palms together, ready to fight the shark when Yushu ran over first. Shu, where are you going? It's dangerous. Meng Yao jumped in fright at Yushu's actions as she called out to her. It's fine, I'll go take a look. Yushu wasn't afraid of sharks. The last time Lin Yi had brought her along, she'd been able to kill a shark. Sharks weren't that bad after all, and should be easy to kill. She wanted to see if she could do it. Yeah, Shu, don't go there, it's too dangerous. Let me catch this shark. Pinliang was afraid that Yushu would notice something if she got too close. But Yushu didn't listen to Pinliang at all. She ran straight to the beach, and Pinliang had no choice but to jump into the sea first. He was afraid that Yushu would jump into the sea too. Lin Yi, on the beach not too far away, raised his head to look at the shark in the sea, then at Yushu before lowering his head, ignoring them. Hey, aren't you their bodyguard and follower? There's a shark in the water, why aren't you protecting Yushu? Xiao Xiao looked at Lin Yi curiously. Isn't there Zhong Pingliang? I won't be going. Lin Yi smiled. Him. Xiao Xiao thought that Lin Yi would rush up and expose his relationship with Meng Yao and Yushu, but Lin Yi didn't seem to have any intention of going. He'll run faster than a rabbit if there's danger. Ha, if you know that, then why would I go? Pingliang would have run if there was danger. Does he look like he's in danger? Lin Yi asked. It doesn't look like it. Xiao Xiao nodded. Plus, is that a shark? Lin Yi smiled coldly. Did sharks swim like that? And it could even move horizontally. Wasn't that shark a little too strong? Not a shark. Then what is it? Xiao Xiao blinked, not understanding what Lin Yi meant. You'll know when you see it. Lin Yi wasn't sure what was in the sea, but it didn't look like it was controlled by a machine. It looked more like a person. Pingliang jumped into the sea and pointed at the shark. How dare you, shark? How dare you come here? Die. Wow, I didn't think Pingliang would be this brave, fighting a shark. The students on the shore praised, making Pingliang feel a little smug. Shoo, let's get further away. It's too dangerous here. Meng Yao pulled Yushu away from the shore. Watch me, Yao Yao. Yushu wasn't scared at all. She pulled out a giant pebble from the sea and called out. Liangyi, get out of the way. Pingliang jumped in fright and turned around to see a giant oval object flying at him. He dodged instinctively, and the object hit the shark in the sea with a bang. Ah! Gao Xiaofu let out a blood-curdling scream as the pebble smashed into his forehead. Blood gushed out from his forehead and instantly dyed the nearby seawater red. Yeah! I killed the shark. Yushu danced around excitedly. She didn't think that she'd hit the shark with just one hit, making it bleed. Why did I hear a scream just now? Does a shark scream too? Meng Yao looked at the sea curiously, trying to figure something out. Ugh! I was the one who screamed. Pingliang explained quickly, shocked. He was worried that Xiaofu wouldn't have died, would he? You screamed. I hit a shark, what's yours? Yushu asked curiously. Well. The shark was in pain, and I saw that it didn't know how to scream, so I screamed for it. Yeah, I screamed for it. Pingliang explained with a dry laugh. I see. Yushu nodded. Liangyi, hurry up and get the shark I killed. I want to eat grilled shark meat. Okay. Pingliang was quite troubled. He'd wanted to show off his skills, but Yushu got there first. What a waste of effort. Pingliang dove into the water and saw Xiaofu grimacing in pain as he held his forehead, but it didn't look like anything serious. It was just a flesh wound. Pingliang sighed in relief and pointed at the frozen shark he bought from the supermarket. He gestured for Xiaofu to push the shark from behind while he pulled it up himself. Xiaofu endured the pain in his head and helped Pingliang push the shark ashore. He quickly dove back into the water, looking for a place to go out to sea. This shark's pretty big. Yushu ran to the shark excitedly and poked it with her finger. Huh? Why is this shark so cold? It looks like it just came out of the fridge. Chapter 463. Pretend to be a shark a little longer. Is that so? Yushu blinked. She didn't know if sharks were cold-blooded or not, so she decided to believe Pingliang's explanation for now. Yes. Pingliang said confidently. Shoo, I'll make roasted shark for you and Yao Yao now. We can't bring a fire source on the plane, so I brought a solar barbecue grill. I'll show you high-tech food later. Oh, that's great. Hurry up. Yushu was overjoyed at the thought that she could eat roasted shark very soon. Meng Yao, on the other hand, looked at the shark with a weird expression on her face. Why is this shark missing a fin? Wah. Pingliang's eyes went wide as he looked at the shark on the ground. As expected, the shark was missing a fin. And it looked like it had been cut off by someone. Pingliang was so pissed off he wanted to curse at the supermarket owner for lying to him. He'd cut off a shark's fin and sold it at such a high price. He was going to get someone to smash his shop. Motherfucker. Shu must have cut off the shark's fin, yes. It must have been smashed by a rock. Pingliang explained. Really? I'm that good? Yushu didn't believe that she could have cut off the shark's fin. Don't tell me you bought this shark from the supermarket. Meng Yao said as she kicked the shark twice, noticing that it was hard and solid. It was clearly frozen solid. Yeah, Yao Yao, why does it look like you bought it from the supermarket? Look, there's a price tag in the shark's mouth. Yushu looked at the shark in confusion. Is this the one I killed? Lil Tuliangzi, are you mistaken? Yes, it's definitely it. Pingliang glanced at the shark's mouth and saw a white price tag. He gritted his teeth in anger. Was this Xiaofu blind? He didn't see the missing fin, but how could he not see the price tag in the shark's mouth? Pingliang, however, couldn't say that out loud. He quickly took the price tag out of the shark's mouth with a dry smile and stuffed it into his mouth, chewing it twice before swallowing. This isn't a price tag, it's scallop meat. It was very delicious. As the saying goes, humans die in pursuit of wealth and birds die in pursuit of food. This shark must have swam to the shallow sea to eat the scallops, but it was smashed to death by Little Shu's stone. Pingliang quickly changed the topic, afraid that the two would see through him again. Scallop meat? So you eat it raw? Meng Yao felt that something was wrong. This is something sharks risk their lives to eat. How can it not be delicious? Ugh. Sorry, I should have left something this delicious for you, Yao Yao. Pingliang said quickly. Then you should eat by yourself. Don't call me Yao Yao, it sounds weird. Meng Yao reminded. Didn't Shu call you Yao Yao? Pingliang couldn't help but ask. Shu calls me Yao Yao sis, why don't you call me that too? Meng Yao glared at Pingliang. Forget it then. Pingliang didn't want to become Meng Yao's little brother. Wouldn't that make it harder for him to pursue her? With a laugh, Pingliang said, I'm going to roast the shark. All the boys in our class, come over. We'll cut the shark together and everyone will have a share when it's done. Some of the students were more or less suspicious of the shark in Pingliang's hand like Meng Yao and Yushu, but when they heard that the shark was going to be roasted later and that everyone would have a share, no one dared to do such a hateful thing. They all started helping Pingliang, and their disgust towards him lessened a lot. Pingliang prepared the solar grill and looked around for Xiaofu. After a while, he saw Xiaofu running over with a shirt wrapped around his head. How are you? Pingliang asked quietly. Luckily it's just my forehead. It's just a flesh wound. Xiaofu said. Why didn't you hold on a little longer before you went down? I didn't even get to do anything and you went down already. I'm so embarrassed, I didn't even show my heroic image. Pingliang complained. Liang bro, I had no choice. Yushu was too fierce. She threw a rock at me, and if I didn't go down quickly, I'd be dead if she threw another rock at me. Xiaofu said with lingering fear. You're right, but who knew why Yushu was so enthusiastic about this? Pingliang shook his head. Maybe I should pretend to be a shark again later. Xiaofu asked carefully. Sure, we'll talk about it later. Pin Liang nodded. Let's put the grill on the grill first and get ready to roast it. Pin Liang and Xiaofu waited for a while, but the grill didn't heat up. Pin Liang started to panic. What's wrong with this thing? Why isn't it working? There's not enough solar energy, right? Xiaofu looked up at the sun and said carefully. Then what do we do? Pin Liang looked up. It was indeed cloudy. Don't worry, we still have a hand crank. I'll crank it here, and you blow on the charcoal in the grill. It'll be easy as long as it's lit up. Xiaofu said. All right. Pin Liang nodded and started blowing air into the stove while Xiaofu chewed on the booster with all his might. After a while, Pin Liang's mouth was swollen, but there was no smoke coming out of the charcoal. Xiaofu, on the other hand, was shaking until his arms hurt. Why didn't you guys light up the fire? Yushu watched as the boys cut the shark into smaller pieces, and Pin Liang didn't even light up the grill. What kind of grill is this? It's a new model. I bought it on TV, recommended by you bro. Xiaofu said proudly. You believe stuff from TV? Yushu's eyes were wide open. That's. Pin Liang almost kicked Xiaofu to death. He'd thought it was some high-tech product, but it turned out to be an unreliable TV show. Liang bro, don't be mad, it'll be done soon. I'll try harder. Xiaofu said as he increased the speed of his shaking, sweating profusely. Xiaofu, why do you look like a Native American chief? Why is there something on your head? Yushu said as she tried to pull the shirt off Xiaofu's head, don't. That's what it means to struggle. Look at TV, people who struggle have a piece of cloth on their head. I'm struggling to light the grill. Xiaofu explained quickly. Chapter 464. Chapter 464, Wood drilling, right away, right away. Pin Liang panicked when he heard that Meng Yao was going to find someone else. Fu, didn't you eat breakfast this morning? Put in more effort. I did, but I threw up. No, I didn't throw up, I pooped. Xiaofu said. Pin Liang's face darkened, feeling a little awkward. Yushu really knew how to rub it in. He pooped, didn't he do it too? Pooped in his pants too. Pin Liang was afraid that Yushu would laugh at him again, so he said, cut the crap and shake it harder. With that, Pin Liang increased the strength of his breath, blowing at the charcoal in the stove. All right. I'll give it my all. Xiaofu gritted his teeth and increased the speed of his hand. With a bang, a beam of fire shot out of the stove, and Pin Liang howled in pain as the smell of roasted pig hair wafted through the air. Pin Liang's hair was singed, and a part of his face was blackened as well. Fortunately, the fire only lasted for a split second, or the skin on his face would have been burnt off. Fu, what are you doing? Pin Liang panicked. Are you trying to burn me to death? Liang bro, weren't you the one who told me to hurry up? Xiaofu said bitterly. Pin Liang didn't know what to say anymore, he was the one who told Xiaofu to hurry up, after all. With a dark face, he said, then continue. That was pretty good, and I think we're about to light the stove up. All right. Let's work harder. Xiaofu nodded, roaring as he started shaking the pole again. But this time, Pin Liang didn't dare get too close. He could only blow from afar, and the effect was much weaker. Xiaofu shook the stove even faster than before, but without Pin Liang's help, the fire wouldn't come out no matter how hard he tried. With a thud, Xiaofu fell on his butt, sitting on the ground with a groan. Thank goodness he was on the beach, or he'd be in a lot of pain. What the hell? Pin Liang was infuriated. He'd wanted to show off in front of Meng Yao, but problems kept popping up. He either messed up here or there. It's broken. Brother Liang, the handle is broken. Gao Xiaofu raised the joystick in his hand with a sad face. Broken? Pinliang was infuriated. What kind of trash did Xiaofu buy? What an embarrassment. Sigh, you two are too unreliable. Yushu looked at Pinliang and Xiaofu, shaking her head in disappointment. She turned around and saw smoke rising from Lin Yi's chimney. I'll go look for someone else. Look, they've already started a fire. With that, Yushu ran off, but Pinliang frowned. The person by the fire was Lin Yi. Brother Liang, aren't we not allowed to bring a fire source on the plane? Where did he get the fire? Gao Xiaofu asked curiously. Yeah. We're not allowed to bring a fire source on the plane, he must have brought it in private. We'll go report him. Pinliang was pissed after trying to light the fire for a long time. He saw Yushu and Mengyao run over to Lin Yi's side. He panicked. Let's go, we'll go look for him. Lin Yi got a few clams and crabs from the sea, planning to roast them. He wasn't interested in shark meat, so he made a fire with some twigs to roast the clams. Lin Yi rarely talked to anyone other than Kong Xiaobo, so no one thought that Lin Yi didn't fit in with the group. Boss, I got some more clams. Do you think this is enough? Xiaobo said as he put the clams in his clothes on the beach beside Lin Yi. It's more than enough for the two of us. Lin Yi said after a glance. Me too. Xiao Xiao was panicking. I want to eat too. Go get it yourself. Lin Yi said faintly as he looked at her. Who did this girl think she was? She wanted to get it for free. Oh. Xiao Xiao stood up, feeling wronged as she walked to the beach. She wasn't happy. Why was Lin Yi treating her like this? Couldn't he be a little nicer? Xiao Xiao was even more troubled when she got to the beach. Kong Xiaobo had pretty much taken all the clams in the shallow water. It seemed like she'd have to go deeper. Luckily, it wasn't that Xiao Xiao didn't know how to swim. She just wanted Lin Yi to teach her. That was why she said she couldn't swim. Going deeper would be dangerous. Boss, why don't you go easy on the fairer sex? Kong Xiaobo felt wronged on Xiao Xiao's behalf. If there was a pretty girl who wanted to eat clams, Kong Xiaobo would be more than happy to give it to her. But now, Xiao Xiao was chasing after Lin Yi. Kong Xiaobo couldn't do that, and Lin Yi wouldn't let Kong Xiaobo do that. Lin Yi. Where'd you get the fire? Pinliang was pissed off, and he felt that he was in the right. He was the one who found the plane, so he had the right to question Lin Yi. He was in the right, after all. Lin Yi frowned and looked at Pinliang. What's it got to do with you? You. Pinliang was pissed. He was here to question Lin Yi, but he didn't expect Lin Yi to refute him with one sentence. But Pinliang wasn't going to back down now. He pointed at Lin Yi. You're not allowed to bring a fire on the plane, and you brought matches and a lighter. Are you trying to put the safety of the whole class at risk? Do you think I won't call the cops on you? Pinliang immediately elevated Lin Yi's actions to the safety of the entire class, and the students who thought Pinliang was a little arrogant and despotic all stood on Pinliang's side. Yeah, bringing a fire with you was the same as screwing everyone over. Which eye of yours saw me bring a lighter and matches? Lin Yi smiled coldly. You're just looking for trouble, aren't you? How did you start a fire without a fire? Pinliang was sure that Lin Yi used a fire source to start a fire. Otherwise, he wouldn't have any equipment to start a fire. My boss started a fire by drilling wood. Kong Xiaobo was pissed. Pinliang was accusing Lin Yi of using a lighter or matches to start a fire. Drilling wood to start a fire? Pinliang paused and laughed. Are you kidding me? Drilling wood to start a fire? Why didn't you say you used a magnifying glass to start a fire? Didn't you learn in primary school? Didn't you know that drilling wood to start a fire? Kong Xiaobo rolled his eyes and ignored Pinliang. Then drill another one for me to see. If you can't do it, I'll call the cops. Pinliang shouted angrily. Chapter 465. A real shark. Lin Yi glanced at Yushu, ignoring her. Perform for Pinliang. Lin Yi, on the other hand, wasn't that bored. He put the clams on the fire rack and started roasting them. Lin Yi, you can start a fire by drilling wood? Meng Yao, who'd been standing on the side, hadn't said a word. Yushu said that Lin Yi could start a fire by drilling wood. Yes. Lin Yi had no choice but to answer since the miss had asked. Then why don't you drill it for us to see? Meng Yao didn't want Lin Yi to get into trouble, and judging from Pinliang's attitude, he'd probably do what he said. Lin Yi was her follower, and Meng Yao didn't want Lin Yi to get arrested. Oh, okay. Lin Yi found 2 pieces of wood and prepared to start a fire. Wait, why are you standing so far away from me? Perform in front of me if you can. Pinliang waved his hand to stop Lin Yi, surprised that Lin Yi had agreed to perform. But the easier it was for Lin Yi to agree, the more he was afraid that Lin Yi would do something to it. Do you need me to perform in front of you? Lin Yi thought that Pinliang could go after Meng Yao if he wanted to, but there was no need for him to get a solar grill. Lin Yi didn't bother with him, but the guy had taken the initiative to target him. Lin Yi was a little puzzled. Was the guy itching for a beating again? Or was he out of his mind? Pinliang wouldn't have dared to cause trouble for Lin Yi under normal circumstances, but today was different. He was the one who organized the trip, and he was the one who booked the plane. From a certain perspective, he was the person in charge of the trip. This way, if Lin Yi were to bring a fire source onto the plane, he would have the responsibility to stop and discipline him. That was why Pinliang dared to do this. Pinliang wouldn't be this angry if Lin Yi had just admitted to it. At most, he'd scold him a bit and confiscate his fireplace. But Lin Yi was drilling wood to start a fire. Pinliang had heard of drilling wood to make fire, but he had never seen it before. Also, if wood could really be used to start a fire, then those exploration teams and inspection groups wouldn't have to attach so much importance to their personal fire source. Wouldn't they be able to start a fire by just finding 2 pieces of wood? Alright, just put it in my hand and let me see if I can start a fire. Pinliang was afraid that Lin Yi would do something to it, so he asked for another piece of wood. He didn't believe that Lin Yi could start a fire so easily. Heh. Do whatever you want. Don't look for me if you burn up. Lin Yi was just thinking about how to teach this guy a lesson when he didn't expect Pinliang to take the initiative to crawl under his fingers. Alright, I won't look for you. It's my bad luck if I burn up. Everyone is here to testify. Pinliang laughed coldly. But I'm afraid that you don't have what it takes. Lin Yi didn't say much. He put a piece of wood in Pinliang's hand and started rubbing the other piece of wood against it. Ha! I thought you had some tricks up your sleeves. You'll never be able to make a fire with this kind of method. Pinliang laughed at Lin Yi's actions. Since you want to make a fool of yourself, then do what you want. Pinliang thought to himself. He had made a fool of himself today, and now it was Lin Yi's turn. Pinliang was laughing proudly when he heard a "ft." Then, he felt a burning sensation in his palm. Wah! Pinliang realized that the wood in his hand had been set on fire, and the flames were blazing. It scared him so much that he threw the wood away and started screaming. It's hot, everyone had benefited from Pinliang, so they couldn't make fun of him. Yushu, on the other hand, didn't care. She started laughing at Pinliang's funny face. Kong Xiaobo started laughing as well. Pinliang felt so humiliated that he wanted to jump into the sea. He was just about to find an excuse to leave when he saw a shark fin swimming around in the sea. Pinliang was overjoyed. This Gao Xiaofu was really something. He came at just the right time. He was pretending to be a shark again, and this time in deep water. Yushu wouldn't be able to throw a rock that far no matter how good she was. Even the Olympic shot put champion wouldn't be able to do it. Another shark attack. Pinliang yelled, drawing everyone's attention away. Wait for me, I'll come back after I take care of this shark. Pinliang had already thought of an excuse. He'd kill the shark later, but he didn't plan on dragging the shark back to shore. He couldn't drag it back to shore, since he only bought a frozen shark from the supermarket. He didn't have any left to drag. But he could use the excuse that the shark was deep in the sea, and it was too far for him to drag it back. There was already one shark, and he couldn't finish it. He didn't need another one. In order to avoid the awkwardness of drilling wood to start a fire, Pinliang sprinted into the sea and charged at the shark. You bold shark, Liang bro will take care of you. Yushu had gotten the first move, and Pinliang couldn't let it slip again. He had to get rid of the shark as soon as possible before Yushu made another move. Pfft. Lin Yi almost burst out laughing at Pinliang's reactive. This shark was a real shark, after all. He couldn't help but admire Pinliang's bravery. Liang bro, where are you going? Xiaofu was shocked as he watched Pinliang run away. He wasn't the one who pretended to be the shark, so. Xiaofu thought of a scary possibility. Pinliang, on the other hand, was already far away, and couldn't hear Xiaofu's shout at all. He was still charging forward passionately, but he froze when he was about to reach the shark. That was because he saw the shark opening its bloody mouth towards him. Wah! Pinliang stopped. Xiaofu. The shark didn't reply, but swam towards Pinliang with its mouth open. It was a shark attracted by the smell of blood. Xiaofu's head was bleeding, and the boys in the class had used seawater to wash the shark's meat, so the shark had snuck in through the hole Pinliang had made in the security line. Oh my god. Pinliang realized that this wasn't Xiaofu at all. It was a real shark. Pinliang was scared, and with a scream, he swam towards the shore, pissing his pants. This time, he used all his strength and started running. Although it was a little shameful, it was nothing compared to losing his life. Chapter 466. Lin Yi makes a move because of her concentration. Xiao Xiao didn't realize that the shark wasn't far from her, and that Pinliang was drawing it over. Pinliang, on the other hand, saw Xiao Xiao, and his eyes lit up. He quickly swam towards Xiao Xiao's direction, trying to draw the shark's attention to Xiao Xiao. Pinliang wouldn't have dared to do this under normal circumstances, since he was very afraid of Xiao Xiao. But now that his life was in danger, he had to do it. He was about to be bitten by a shark, so what did he care about? If he could divert the shark's attention and make it attack Xiao Xiao, he'd be free. As expected, the shark's attention was drawn to Xiao Xiao, and it swam towards her. Boss! That shark! Kong Xiaobo started, pointing at where the shark was swimming towards Xiao Xiao. Lin Yi frowned. Naturally, he'd seen the shark get drawn to Xiao Xiao's side. Lin Yi didn't care if Pinliang got bitten to death by the shark or not, it was better if he was dead. Xiao Xiao, on the other hand, was someone Lin Yi didn't have a good impression of, but he didn't hate her either. If she'd been eaten by a shark for no reason, Lin Yi would have sympathized with her. It was one thing if they didn't know each other, but she was his desk mate after all, and they'd been messing around for so long. Lin Yi still had some feelings for her, and he had no choice but to stand up and walk towards the beach. Xiao Xiao, you dumb girl, get out of the way. Lin Yi couldn't help but yell. Ah! Xiao Xiao blinked at Lin Yi's words. She looked up to see Pinliang swimming towards her with a shark right behind him. Xiao Xiao's face changed. She'd seen through the fake shark Pinliang made with Lin Yi's warning, but this one was obviously a real shark, or Pinliang wouldn't be this fast. But wasn't this guy a little too evil? Why did he have to run towards him? Wasn't it obvious that he was trying to attract the shark's attention to him? Xiao Xiao was infuriated and scared, but she was hesitant. The bracelet that her mother had left for her was lost here. If she ran away now, it would be difficult to locate it later, and the hope of finding it would be even slimmer. What are you thinking about? Lin Yi was getting a little exasperated. Xiao Xiao was usually a smart girl, so why was she so dumb at critical moments? My bracelet. Xiao Xiao said. Lin Yi fainted. He was already dead, and he was still looking for the bracelet. What kind of thinking was that? But Xiao Xiao didn't move. Even if she ran back, it'd be too late. Lin Yi could only jump into the sea with his clothes on. Pinliang's life and death had nothing to do with Lin Yi, but this idiot Xiao Xiao. Lin Yi didn't want her to die. Xiao Xiao was a little shocked. She didn't think that Lin Yi would jump into the sea to save her. She couldn't believe it. Was this really Lin Yi? Lin Yi swam over quickly, ignoring Xiao Xiao. The shark was already swimming over, and Pinliang was hiding behind Xiao Xiao like a coward. Lin Yi was very familiar with dealing with sharks. They were in deep water, but Lin Yi's feet were still on the bottom. He could use his strength as a golden class late phase peak to kill the shark with one punch, but that would be too much of a shock, so Lin Yi decided to use the same method as last time. After a punch, he'd use the branch in his hand to stab the shark's cheek. The shark was taken care of by Lin Yi very cleanly. Pinliang and Xiao Xiao were the most shocked. Pinliang didn't think that Lin Yi could take care of a shark so easily, while he himself was his enemy. Xiao Xiao, on the other hand, was shocked by Lin Yi's strength. He didn't seem to be sloppy at all, and that made Pengzhan spend a lot of money to hire him. As for the other students in the class, they'd seen Yushu killing a shark with a cobblestone before, and most of them thought that sharks were easy to kill, so they weren't all that shocked when Lin Yi killed another shark. Are you trying to kill me? Xiao Xiao snapped back to reality, and the first thing she did was send a kick at Pinliang's crotch, making him cry out in pain. His eyes rolled back, and he almost fell into the sea. Xiao Xiao had used a lot of strength in that kick. She was pissed off to the max. This Pinliang was basically trying to kill her. What was the difference between that and murder? And so, Xiao Xiao didn't hold back at all. Pinliang deserved to be kicked to death. Pinliang knew that he was in the wrong, and even though the pain was unbearable, he still held his crotch and carefully went back to the shore. He sat on the beach, unable to speak, his face pale. Xiaofu quickly ran over to comfort him. At this moment, no one in the class was sympathizing with Pinliang anymore. What Pinliang did before was simply too immoral. He couldn't fight the shark himself, so he lured it to someone else. Wasn't that a little too much? It wasn't hard to imagine that if the person in the sea hadn't been Xiao Xiao, but someone else, would Pinliang have lured the shark over? If it weren't for Lin Yi's timely arrival, wouldn't the person in the sea be in the fish's stomach? Dumb girl, why didn't you run? Lin Yi was a little annoyed that Xiao Xiao didn't run. If she had run, he wouldn't have had to go into the water. Now that he was all wet, it was really uncomfortable. My mom left me a bracelet. Xiao Xiao remembered that she hadn't found it yet. She couldn't care less about the shark's blood in the water. She crouched down to look for it. What bracelet? You don't even want your life anymore. Lin Yi didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It's something my mom left for me. Xiao Xiao looked at Lin Yi, a little embarrassed, but she didn't look away. This bracelet was too important to her. She didn't want to lose it. Something It was Lin Yi's turn to be surprised, but it was just as Xiao Xiao said. Lin Yi understood why Xiao Xiao would risk her life to look for the bracelet. What Lin Yi didn't expect was that Xiao Xiao didn't have a mother. My mom left when I was really young. Xiao Xiao shook her head, a faint sadness in her eyes. Chapter 467. Chapter 467, Pinliang's New Plan. You. What are you doing? Xiao Xiao jumped, not expecting Lin Yi to be so bold as to hold her hand. She wanted to move away subconsciously, but she didn't manage to. Lin Yi didn't say anything. He put something in Xiao Xiao's hand and left. A bracelet? Xiao Xiao looked at the thing Lin Yi put down, speechless. She'd been looking for it for so long, and Lin Yi just casually touched the water and found it. Xiao Xiao looked at Lin Yi's back in disbelief, her eyes filled with disbelief. She didn't understand Lin Yi at all. Lin Yi wasn't a treasure hunter or anything. How would he be able to find the bracelet Xiao Xiao threw into the water under normal circumstances? Lin Yi was just using Xiao Xiao's faint hostility towards him, and through the jade sensing ability, he found something with Xiao Xiao's presence in the sea. It was just a normal function of the jade, and Lin Yi often used it in the battlefield to find out what his enemies were hiding. Of course, this function only worked on people who were hostile to him. It didn't work on anyone else. The spring outing ended peacefully with Pinliang's farce. In the evening, the students in the class took the seaplane back to Songshan City. Pinliang's face was pale as he sat next to Xiaofu. The two didn't try to sit in the last row anymore, instead choosing to sit behind everyone else in the middle of the cabin. The spring outing was a perfect plan, and now it's ruined. Pinliang realized that everything was going wrong. No matter what he did, it always ended in failure. If this went on, he might even think that he was possessed by the god of misfortune. Liang bro, I'm sorry, I didn't warn you in time when that shark came. Xiaofu said, a little guilty. It's fine, I was too impatient. Pinliang waved his hand. I'm afraid Minyao's impression of me is even worse now. She thinks I'm a coward, trying to lure danger to a woman. I'm done for, there's no hope left. Brother Liang, don't give up. There's still hope. Xiaofu tried to calm Pinliang down. In fact, even he himself thought that Pinliang's chances were slim. Really? Is there still hope? Pinliang was like a drowning man clutching at the last straw. He knew it was hopeless, but he didn't want to give up. Yes. Gao Xiaofu hesitated for a moment before saying, Brother Liang, I think you should force yourself on her. Force yourself on me? Pinliang paused, looking at Xiaofu in shock. You're saying, that's right. Gao Xiaofu was just saying it casually, but after saying it, even he felt that it was a good idea, so he continued, Brother Liang, it's already April, and there are only 2 months left before the college entrance examination. Time is tight, and if you don't hurry up, I'm afraid that your chances will be even slimmer after you enter university. What if Meng Yao finds someone else after she goes to university? Yeah, you're right. Pinliang nodded, but isn't it too risky to force yourself on her? Meng Yao's family isn't normal, and I'm afraid that it'll backfire. Pinliang had given Ruoming a similar idea before, telling him to force himself on Tang Yun, but that was only for girls with no background. Meng Yao, on the other hand, was different. Peng Zhan wouldn't let him off the hook if he really did force himself on Meng Yao. That's not true. Xiaofu waved his hand mysteriously, think about it, Liang bro. What do the people in the upper class care about the most? Its reputation, and if Meng Yao really becomes yours, would she dare to sue you? Even if she wanted to, Peng Zhan might not agree to it. This is related to his daughter's reputation for life. If this gets out, how is Meng Yao going to get married? That's true, but how can I guarantee that Pengzhan won't do something to me in the dark? Pin Liang hesitated, still worried. Isn't that easy? First, Menyao's already yours, and I don't believe that she won't care about all this. As long as she cares, you can take advantage of the situation and break through her mental defenses. Xiaofu said confidently. Secondly, Liang bro, you have to go to Pengzhan's company and spread the word that Menyao's already yours, that you're his son-in-law. Let everyone know about this, and Pengzhan won't be able to do anything to you even if he wants to, since everyone knows about this. He'll have to acknowledge you as his son-in-law to avoid being laughed at. Xiaofu said confidently. I say, Xiaofu, you're pretty good, aren't you? Pin Liang listened to Xiaofu's analysis and felt that it was true. It was a great idea if he did it right. Of course, Liang bro, you can do this if you're really afraid of something happening. Xiaofu was getting more and more excited. Lock Mengyao up first, then go to Pengzhan's place and say that Menyao's already yours. See how he reacts. If he acknowledges you as his son-in-law, then go back and cook the rice. If he doesn't, then let Mengyao go and tell him that it's just a joke. That way, the risk will be much lower. Xiaofu, I really didn't realize that you're so smart. Pin Liang was a little worried before, but calmed down after hearing Xiaofu's instructions. There was no risk at all. Heh, it's all thanks to your training, Liang bro. Xiaofu smiled, pleased with himself. Man, this thing down there got kicked by Xiao Xiao, and it's all swollen now. Looks like I won't be able to use it anytime soon. I can't force myself on her either. Pin Liang said, a little regretful. Xiao Xiao gripped the bracelet in her hand tightly. She needed to reevaluate Lin Yi's strength. She'd underestimated Lin Yi too much before, resulting in her losing time and time again. It seemed that making Lin Yi fall in love with her wasn't an easy task. Lin Yi had saved her today, but Xiao Xiao could tell that Lin Yi didn't save her because he liked her at all. It was out of pity. And so, Xiao Xiao felt that she needed to adjust her plan a little. If she kept chasing Lin Yi like this, Lin Yi would never like her for the rest of his life. It seemed that she had to do something. Mrs. Tang smiled as she sent Tang Yun and Lin Yi to the door. When Lin Yi left, he gave Mrs. Tang a bank card. Mrs. Tang paused for a second, then put it into her pocket with a smile. She knew that Lin Yi gave it to her, and he did it behind Tang Yun's back, which meant that the money was free and not borrowed. There wasn't any evidence, and Tang Yun didn't see it. Other than giving Mr. Tang shark fin, Lin Yi also came to give Mrs. Tang this card. He wanted Mrs. Tang to open up the barbecue shop as soon as possible, reducing Tang Yun's burden. What did you just give my mom? Tang Yun's eyes were sharp, and she noticed something. It's nothing. Lin Yi smiled. Did you secretly give her money? Tang Yun wasn't stupid, and she could roughly guess what he was doing. No, a small accessory, Lin Yi said casually. Oh. Tang Yun let out a breath of relief. She was afraid that she owed Lin Yi too much, and she wouldn't be able to pay it back in the future. Lin Yi drove Tang Yun to school and parked the car at the food street. Xiao Xiao's Audi TT followed them and stopped beside Lin Yi's car. Xiao Xiao took over another stall on the food street, and the vendors didn't dare say anything, because Xiao Xiao and Lin Yi knew each other. Who would want to mess with her? Honey. Xiao Xiao stopped the car and waved at Lin Yi. Wah. Lin Yi's eyes went wide as he looked at Xiao Xiao, confused. Was there something wrong with this girl? Calling him honey? Tang Yun's face darkened as she looked at Xiao Xiao strangely. Xiao Xiao had already shown that she was too close to Lin Yi in the cafeteria, and that made Tang Yun uncomfortable. Now she was calling Lin Yi honey right in front of her. What did she think she was? Lin Yi, didn't you say you were going to talk to her? Xiao Xiao ran over and grabbed Lin Yi's arm. You liar. You told me yesterday that you were going to give her a breakup fee and break up with her. Why are you still with her? Xiao Xiao, what's wrong with you? Lin Yi was about to explode at Xiao Xiao's weird words. Lin Yi, I think I'm pregnant. Can you take me to the hospital for a checkup? Xiao Xiao didn't answer Lin Yi's question. Tang Yun frowned as she looked at Xiao Xiao. From what she knew of Lin Yi, she didn't believe Xiao Xiao's words, but anyone would be suspicious if they heard something like this. What's going on? Didn't Lin Yi give you a breakup fee? Xiao Xiao looked at Tang Yun, confused. I've known Lin Yi for a long time, and I wanted to make you a mistress out of pity, sharing Lin Yi with you, but you didn't know what was good for you, so I had to make Lin Yi be with you for nothing. Tang Yun paused. She didn't really believe Xiao Xiao's words, but Xiao Xiao said it so confidently that Tang Yun couldn't help but be suspicious. One had to know that reputation was very important to a girl, and Xiao Xiao didn't even have a boyfriend. Why would she throw dirty water on herself and say something like that? Seeing that all the students were looking at them, Tang Yun felt her face heat up. Xiao Xiao's words were obviously meant to embarrass her, and even if she was lying, Tang Yun still felt uncomfortable. Did this make the students think that she was trying to steal her man? Tang Yun never thought that she would become the main character of a love triangle. Lin Yi, talk to her first. I'm leaving, come find me after class. Tang Yun didn't want to see the weird looks people were giving her, so she said to Lin Yi and quickly walked back to school. Lin Yi, on the other hand, looked at Xiao Xiao with a dark face. What do you want? Chapter 469. Chapter 469, something happened to Fan Xiao Xiao decided to take the initiative and cause some trouble for Lin Yi. Lin Yi looked at Xiao Xiao, confused. A hero saving a damsel in distress was the most vulgar part of the story, but it was also something that could easily move a man's heart. But Lin Yi didn't think that yesterday's scene could move Xiao Xiao that much. He'd saved Tang Yun a couple of times already, and she didn't even want to marry him. Their relationship was only formed after spending a long time together. The miss, on the other hand, didn't need to be mentioned. He'd saved her many times, and she never expressed anything. As a result, Lin Yi didn't think that saving a damsel in distress would make Xiao Xiao confess to him on her own accord. Lin Yi, you're the most charming man I've ever met. Xiao Xiao blushed as she looked at Lin Yi, her eyes blurry. But, before Lin Yi could say anything, the phone rang. It was Lin Yi. Sorry, I'll take this call first. Lin Yi made a hand gesture to Xiao Xiao before picking up the call. Xiao Xiao was furious. She'd never been so humbled to a man before. She was Xiao Xiao. She'd sworn that in her short life, she'd never lower her head to anyone. She'd live a life of her own free will. But now, Lin Yi was picking up the phone when she'd finally gotten the courage to confess to him. She couldn't take it anymore. She raised her foot, aiming to step on Lin Yi's foot. Lin Yi thought to himself. Why did girls always like to step on other people's feet? He subconsciously moved back, and Xiao Xiao stepped on empty air. She'd used too much force, and with a crack, her high heel broke. Ah! Xiao Xiao was panicking. She glared at Lin Yi. Step on it. Or I won't let you answer the phone. As he spoke, he tried to snatch the phone from Lin Yi's hand. Lin Yi frowned, thinking that Xiao Xiao was messing around a little, but seeing how furious she was, Lin Yi decided to let her be. He stretched out his leg and picked up the phone. Hello. I stomp. I stomp. I stomp, stomp, stomp. Xiao Xiao stomped on Lin Yi's foot, but the pain was nothing to Lin Yi. Xiao Xiao, on the other hand, was having a hard time with her giggling. Boss, Xiaofan was caught. Just when Lin Yi picked up the phone, Kong Xiaobo's panicked voice came from the other side. Xiaofan was caught. What's going on? Lin Yi paused and ignored Xiao Xiao, frowning as he listened to the phone. Boss, it's like this. I woke up this morning and went to Xiaofan's house to have breakfast with her. Kong Xiaobo said, a little embarrassed. I wake up early every morning, yeah, get to the point. Who caught Xiaofan? Lin Yi understood Kong Xiaobo's modus operandi. Men and women in love were always passionate, so Lin Yi wouldn't stop Kong Xiaobo from working hard every morning. After all, didn't he still go to Tang Yun's place early in the morning? This morning, Xiaofan was waiting for me on the bench near the breakfast stall like usual. But I usually get there first, but there was a traffic jam this morning, so I got there a little late. Kong Xiaobo said. When I got out of the car, I saw Xiaofan being caught by two men into a white van without a license plate. I was shocked and quickly called a taxi to follow them. I followed them to the entrance of a compound, but the taxi driver only stopped nearby and didn't dare to go in. Hearing Kong Xiaobo's words, Lin Yi sighed. He couldn't understand why these people caught Xiaofan. Could it be that they were sent by Kong Mingming? Where are you? I'll go right now. Lin Yi asked. There's a road sign here, it says Dunmeng Street sub 7, but there doesn't seem to be anyone passing by, so it should be the suburbs, Kong Xiaobo said. I spent around 300 yuan on the taxi, so it should be the suburbs far away. Okay, don't do anything rash. Wait for me. Lin Yi said. Keep in touch. Okay, boss. Hurry up. I'm afraid they'll do something bad to Xiaofan if I'm late. Kong Xiaobo said. Ha, don't worry. I'm here. Nothing will happen, Lin Yi said. After hanging up the call with Kong Xiaobo, Lin Yi ignored Xiao Xiao and turned to get in the car. But he saw Xiao Xiao's Audi TT. Lin Yi hesitated. Lend me your car. In terms of speed, there was no way his van could catch up to Xiao Xiao's sports car. After all, there was the engine. Even if he stepped on the gas pedal, the car couldn't turn into a plane. The place Kong Xiaobo mentioned was a place Lin Yi had never heard of, and since Kong Xiaobo spent 300 yuan on the taxi, excluding the possibility of the car taking a detour, it was more than 100 kilometers away. It wasn't close at all. Ah. Xiao Xiao blinked. Why did he only think of her when he wanted to borrow the car? Why did he ignore her before? Xiao Xiao humphed. I can borrow the car, but I have to be in the car. Follow if you're not afraid of danger. Lin Yi didn't have time to bullshit with Xiao Xiao. The situation wasn't clear right now, and 1 minute late meant 1 minute more danger. Lin Yi didn't want to waste time trying to convince Xiao Xiao. I'm not. Xiao Xiao nodded. The more dangerous and exciting it is, the more I like it. You're quite special, no wonder you like racing. Lin Yi shook his head. Give me the keys. Xiao Xiao obediently took out the keys, but didn't give them to Lin Yi. Instead, she unlocked the door. I'll give it to you in the car. What if you leave me behind? Ha! Lin Yi smiled bitterly. I don't lie to my friends. You think I'm your friend? Xiao Xiao was a little excited at Lin Yi's words. Just a normal friend. Neither good nor bad. Lin Yi was being truthful. He didn't have any bad feelings towards Xiao Xiao, nor did he have any good feelings towards her. In his eyes, she was just a spoiled girl who liked to cause trouble. Why would he bother with her? Carry me, or else we'll waste time. One of Xiao Xiao's shoes was broken, so she couldn't walk fast. Lin Yi looked at her and casually picked her up with one arm, placing her in the passenger seat. Xiao Xiao was a little shocked. She didn't know that Lin Yi's body was this strong. He could carry her with one arm. Lin Yi got in the car and took the keys from Xiao Xiao. He started the car and said to her, "Navigate to Dunmeng Street, number 7. Chapter 470. Chapter 470, Private Territory. Is it okay to run a red light? Lin Yi asked. This was Xiao Xiao's car, after all. It's fine. Xiao Xiao, naturally, didn't care about the fine. Lin Yi nodded. Sit tight and fasten your seatbelt. Xiao Xiao didn't think much of Lin Yi telling her to fasten her seatbelt in the city, but the next moment, she realized that it was a good thing she did. She'd been driving for a long time, but she'd never seen an Audi TT this performance. It made her feel like she'd wasted her time on it. In the city, Lin Yi took every chance he got, not only ignoring the red lights, but even ignoring the traffic police signaling for him to stop. That's amazing. Xiao Xiao was excited. Why can't I be this amazing? Even the traffic police can't stop you. I'm going to save someone, you're just racing for the thrill. It's different, Lin Yi said faintly as he glanced at the rearview mirror. There were 2 police cars behind them. Lin Yi was a bit speechless, but thinking about it, his actions were no different from racing. It was normal to get police cars. Whoa, there's police cars behind us. Lin Yi, we have to lose them. Xiao Xiao wasn't scared at all, but excited instead. I've only seen something like this in Need for Speed. Lin Yi rolled his eyes. He'd guessed that Xiao Xiao's background wasn't normal. She'd been able to go from high school to high school, so she must have a lot of power behind her. It was understandable that Xiao Xiao didn't care about being chased by police cars. But Lin Yi didn't want any trouble. His first goal was to save someone, not deal with police cars. What's your license plate? Song AFX 520. What's wrong? Xiao Xiao asked subconsciously. FX 520. Lin Yi thought to himself. That plate was pretty special. Feng Xiao, I love you. But this also proved that Xiao Xiao's family wasn't simple at all, being able to get a plate like this. This was much harder to get than a plate with 3 8s or 3 6s. But Lin Yi didn't say much and took out his phone to call Ling Shan. Ling Shan hadn't been home for a couple of days now. She was in the police force, organizing the experts to analyze the organ trafficking case. Seeing Lin Yi's phone call, he thought that Lin Yi had some clues, so he quickly picked it up. Miss Braindead, my car plate is Song AFX 520, there's a police car chasing after me, tell them to stop. Lin Yi hung up before Ling Shan could reply. Ah. Ling Shan stared blankly at the phone, her face filled with anger. This Lin Yi. How dare he order him to do things? The next time I see him, I must beat him until his face is full of bumps. Ling Shan wasn't happy, but she didn't want to piss Lin Yi off. She called the traffic police, telling them that the AFX 520 was on duty and telling them to stop chasing. As expected, not long after Lin Yi made the call, the police cars behind them disappeared, and when they passed by the traffic police station, there were no more traffic police to stop them. Lin Yi, you're too amazing, aren't you? You did it with one phone call. Xiao Xiao's eyes widened in shock. She had some background, but even she couldn't make all the traffic police ignore her with one phone call. I'm in a hurry to save someone, Lin Yi said faintly, don't put me in the same category as a spoiled brat like you. Hee, no matter what, you're still very handsome. Xiao Xiao waved her fist excitedly. Right, who's Miss Braindead? A friend of mine, Lin Yi said. Then why is she called Miss Braindead? Is she retarded? Xiao Xiao asked, confused. It's my nickname for her, Lin Yi explained helplessly. It wasn't a good nickname to tell people. Then why don't you give me a nickname too? Xiao Xiao felt that someone Lin Yi would give her a nickname had to be really close. Otherwise, why would Lin Yi do it with one phone call? Lin Yi was going crazy. Who would ask someone to give her a nickname? Lin Yi ignored her and kept his mouth shut. Lin Yi realized that Xiao Xiao was the type of person who'd shine with a bit of sunshine and flood with a bit of water. The more he talked to her, the more trouble she'd have. Lin Yi decided not to talk to her anymore. Xiao Xiao saw that Lin Yi was ignoring her and looked out the window, feeling wronged. When they were almost at Dunmeng Street, Lin Yi's phone vibrated. It was a text. "Boss, I can't wait anymore. I'm going in first, they might do something to fun." The text was from Kong Xiaobo. Lin Yi frowned. This Kong Xiaobo couldn't hold it in, going into the tiger's lair by himself. Wasn't he just causing trouble? But Lin Yi understood Kong Xiaobo's feelings. Anyone in this situation wouldn't be able to hold it in if their loved one was kidnapped. Lin Yi called Kong Xiaobo, and sure enough, the phone was turned off. It seemed that Kong Xiaobo had made up his mind. There was only a compound that looked like a factory near Dunmeng Street 7. Lin Yi didn't see any other buildings as he drove closer. This was the outskirts of the city, and other than the barren land, there was only a building a long distance away. "Who's there?" As soon as Lin Yi's car reached the entrance of the compound, two bulky men came out and blocked Lin Yi's way. "Tourists." Lin Yi pretended to be scared, but he was calculating in his heart. This place was heavily guarded, and it didn't look like something Kong Mingming had done. If Kong Mingming just wanted to capture Fun for revenge or to vent his anger, he wouldn't have created such a heavily guarded place. Could it be another group of people? But Lin Yi was curious. Why did these people want to capture Fun? Fun shouldn't have offended anyone. "This is private property, don't walk around here, leave." The bulky man looked at Lin Yi's car and saw that it was a sports car with a man and a woman in it. He believed that it was a couple, so he didn't mind and waved his hand impatiently, telling them to leave. "Oh, okay, I'm sorry." Lin Yi started the car, and it seemed like he was going to reverse, but he suddenly stepped on the accelerator and crashed into the two bulky men. Bang, bang dash, two loud noises were heard, and the two bulky men were sent flying. They fell to the ground with blood flowing out of their mouths. Chapter 471. Chapter 471, Crash inside the courtyard, in the three tile-roofed houses in the middle. A fierce-looking one-eyed man kicked Kong Xiaobo's butt, sending him tumbling to the ground. "You're sneaking around like a bad guy. You're not a reporter, are you?" Kong Xiaobo was the unluckier one. He was afraid of being discovered by the two guards at the front door, so he climbed the wall from the side to enter the courtyard. His strategy wasn't a problem, but the one-eyed man was peeing at the foot of the wall when he climbed the wall. Kong Xiaobo jumped down, startling him so much that he stopped peeing. The one-eyed man was furious and dragged Kong Xiaobo into the tile-roofed house. "Where's Xiaofun? Where did you take Xiaofun? Who are you people?" Since he was caught, Kong Xiaobo threw caution to the wind. He straightened his neck, looking like he was ready to die a martyr's death. "Xiaofun." The one-eyed man froze. "What Xiaofun? What the hell are you doing? You caught my girlfriend, and you're asking me what I'm doing?" Kong Xiaobo raged. "What are you doing? Your girlfriend? She can't be the cripple that was sent here, right?" The one-eyed man remembered the cripple that had been sent here earlier. "Where is she? Let her go." Kong Xiaobo wasn't afraid of anything now that he'd thrown caution to the wind. "If you don't let us go, my boss will be here, and it'll be your death sentence." "Huh?" The one-eyed man laughed as if he'd heard the funniest joke in the world. "Your boss? Who do you think your boss is? Our death sentence. Since you're with that cripple, then you can be locked up together. Since you refuse to take the path to heaven and chose to walk into hell, then you can be a husband and wife. I'll cut off your organs and let you share the joys and sorrows. Ha, ha. Two loud bangs came from the yard as soon as the one-eyed man finished, followed by a series of screams. Then silence. What happened? One-Eyed Dragon suddenly became alert and asked a man next to him, "Bertzi, lock this guy in the basement first." "Is it a cop?" "My boss is here." "You're dead meat." Kong Xiaobo had an inexplicable confidence in Lin Yi. If Lin Yi came, then he and Xiaofan would be out of danger. "Your boss." One-Eyed Dragon breathed a sigh of relief. As long as it was not the police, it would be easy. He said to his men, Biaozi and Fei Zi at the door should have been dealt with. "Let's go out and see." Then this kid. Zi pointed at Kong Xiaobo and asked. "If you want to leave it here, he won't be able to run out even if the door is locked." One-Eyed Dragon said indifferently, "Take this guy and go out to see which idiot came to offer his kidney." "All right." Zi took out a shotgun from the mezzanine of a table in the house and held it in his hand. He then walked out of the tile-roofed house with One-Eyed Dragon. But the scene in front of them shocked them. Biaozi and Fei Zi were lying on the ground in a terrible state, their faces covered in blood. They were clearly dying. Looking at the yard, there was only an Audi TT sports car left. Biaozi and Fei Zi were obviously hit by this car. "Motherfucker, kill them." One-Eyed Dragon panicked. This yard was usually guarded by the four of them, and now two of them were killed by a car. How could he tolerate it? They have guns. Xiao Xiao said in panic as she saw One-Eyed Dragon and Zi coming out of the house. "Ha! I told you that it's dangerous. If you're afraid, I'll leave the car with you. You can drive back now." Lin Yi looked at the pale Xiao Xiao and said faintly, "I promise that no one will chase you." I'm not leaving." Xiao Xiao didn't dare to drive away by herself. She knew that following Lin Yi was the safest, and although she was a little scared, she was also a little excited. Lin Yi was like a lone hero in a movie, charging into the headquarters of a criminal organization all by himself, ready to wipe them out in one fell swoop. Lin Yi didn't say much. The moment Zi raised his gun, he stepped on the accelerator, and the car spun in an S shape in the yard. With a bang, Zi was sent flying, and the gun was nowhere to be seen. Lin Yi didn't want to reveal too much of his strength in front of Xiao Xiao, so using the car to hit people was the best solution. One-Eyed Dragon thought that with the gun out, the people in the car in front of him would obediently surrender. After all, normal people would have an instinctive fear when they saw a gun. As long as they weren't desperados, they wouldn't act rashly. So he didn't think that Lin Yi would still dare to drive and hit Zi, who was holding a gun, away. Feeling that the situation wasn't good, he wanted to run. He was only being paid to be a guard, and he didn't want to do something like this. He didn't want the money, he just wanted to run. But the next moment, his vision went black, and he fell to the ground, unconscious. Lin Yi took off his belt and tied his hands, then used Zi's belt to tie his legs, and threw him to the side. Lin Yi had killed 3 of them already, and naturally, he wouldn't leave no survivors. This one-eyed man seemed to be the leader of the group, and so Lin Yi knocked him out when he tried to run away. Xiao Xiao's eyes were wide open as she looked at Lin Yi's smooth movements, full of admiration and excitement. If Xiao Xiao was admiring Lin Yi's driving skills before, now she was admiring Lin Yi as a person. Xiao Xiao knew that even her father's bodyguards wouldn't be able to do it as cleanly as Lin Yi, taking care of the people in the yard so easily. Lin Yi walked to the tile-roofed house in the yard and kicked the door to pieces. The windows of the tile-roofed house weren't transparent, so Kong Xiaobo couldn't see what was going on outside. He jumped at the sound, but when he saw who it was, he was excited. "Boss! You're here." "You punk, couldn't you wait for me? What if something happened?" Lin Yi scolded Kong Xiaobo. "Where's Fun?" "I don't know, but from what they said, I think she's locked in the basement," Kong Xiaobo said. "Oh, did they say why they want to capture her?" Lin Yi said as he kicked open a door in the house. There was an entrance to the basement. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. He was overthinking things, thinking that the basement would be hidden. He didn't expect it to be right in front of him. But thinking about the skills of Cyclops and the others, Lin Yi understood. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.